the thing is
And
when
we
you
are
vent,
live.
I'll talk more about that on the break.
Hello there.
Hi, guys. Welcome to a very special segment of Behold Lore. I am your hostess, Zoro from E3, and for those of you who are joining us, we have a much bigger panel today. We don't have just our lore masters, both HBFox and RhojinQuest, but we have the rest of our Destiny Forge cast. We have Shadowfox, Groudon, and Azharen with us. Unfortunately, Raven and Gilatam could not make it, but we at least have a good chunk of our crew here to kind of do this. So, welcome on in, guys. How do we all feel after 143 episodes of just pure joy and crazy?
It was great. Thanks for asking.
Oh man, so many things left undone. I think, honestly.
That's why we have the shit list.
We have the shit list of one-shots that we're going to eventually be doing.
The problem is with these characters specifically, even after we do everything on that list,
We're going to have more.
there's still going to be more to do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the nature of that particular like group of of ne'er do wells. There's always going to be some shit lurking in the background somewhere.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll just create new problems for ourselves as we do the one shots.
I
It's a
am
3.5.
Yeah.
I am totally down for all that bullshit.
Well, we have the PvP match in January.
Yeah, I need to
Mhm.
I need to level up Rose and get her ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all level 20.
We'll be level 20 for that, which is just after the first of the year sometime, and we have the set of campaign 3 starting this upcoming Tuesday. So this is as good a time of any to kind of do a wrap up, sort of. Again, you'll be seeing these characters come back every once in a while for some one shots, but the stories are essentially over at this point, the overall story. So we have some questions that we're going to ask each other, get to know more about our characters, some things that happened, some things that didn't happen, maybe even some hypothetical what if this happened, as well as any questions that we would like to ask Rhojin as far as story and behind the scenes stuff. And this is open to everyone as well. I was asked a small handful of questions before this happened, but of course we will answer any questions live. Just let me know and I will plug them in. Actually, I should have forgot to open a little notepad for that to have that ready just in case. But we're gonna start off with a question actually from Gilatam that wanted to ask this for everybody. If you guys had anything in your backstory that wasn't revealed to the group during this campaign, if you would like to share what that was. And probably just to keep it a little organized, let's start in order with HBFox. That could be for Zale or Kyo.
I mean, I guess it depends on which character and which party members were present.
That's
I mean,
true.
there was some characters in the group that didn't know about Zale's past, but there were some characters that did, and the same with Kyo. She let certain characters know a little bit more than she did others. So there was some back and forth there. I think the full extent of Kyo's backstory was never revealed to anybody because she was just really too closed off to talk about it with anyone. The ritual in particular that made her what she ended up being, it was a lot more involved and there was a lot more horrors, let's say, to it than what she let on. But she kept that really close to her chest and didn't really talk about it for, trauma reasons.
Well, we have now. Want to bring up the trauma?
Hey, trauma.
I mean, I guess the part that she did reveal was how she ended up being trapped within the ritual circle and burning for 3 days and 3 nights. I think that's the part that she did reveal. But it was all the build up to that and the stuff that happened within the Knoll community afterwards that she didn't talk about. And the build up was more or less that she was quite magically adept for a Knoll, specifically in the natural magics of a druid. And that's why her mother and her brother ended up convincing her to take part in the ritual, to be the subject of the ritual. And then her mother was part of the group that performed it and ultimately failed. And then after that, just being shunned and bullied and pushed around for years afterwards just kind of made her into this angry but subdued creature. And it was a little bit worse around her family, who she did spend a lot of time with afterwards. And actually, you guys, some of you anyway, I was waiting for this reveal, but it never happened. Some of you met part of her family. Her brother is named Kay. Some of you might remember him from No Way Out.
Son of a beach.
Oh
I
my
was
god.
about to say, was this from the orgy?
No, yeah, he was the leader of that band of hunters from No Way Out.
That asshole.
And that was him being nice compared to the way he treated her.
Really? Oh, I wanted to kill him so hard.
Well,
Hated
he's still
him.
alive. Still alive and kicking, that one.
Well, I was hoping the bird people would kill him, so sorry, not sorry, Kyo. Goddamn bastard was strong.
Yeah, it came really, really close to that being revealed in Destiny Forged, but I think the conversation in which it was about to happen got interrupted by something, and then it just never picked up after that. And I didn't want to force it as much as I wanted to kind of laugh at everyone's reaction quietly. I didn't want to force it because it just felt wrong for the story. But that was one I've been sitting on for a long time.
That asshole.
Well, thank you for sharing that one, bud.
Yeah. That was a cool little twist. For those of you who know No Way Out, dealt with Kay for a small handful of episodes there.
Yep. Shared your camp and your food with them.
I was not a willing participant, but yes. Shadow Fox, what about you? Oh, caught you in mid-food. We usually start earlier than this, so this is our dinner time, so I apologize for people who are watching and we're just eating food.
I mean, for Caldros, when we did the whole end arc thing, he revealed most of his stuff. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head now.
About your father?
Yeah, I mean that was his backstory. He was adopted by his father, who was somebody in power in the Underdark, and basically used to experiment on summoning Celestials so that they could use their blood for the rituals of becoming a lich and stuff like that. And he escaped, became a warlock for a Raven Queen and a paladin, and basically had a very big hatred for the unnaturally undead. So
Aren't all dead unnatural though?
I will say,
I mean, Ash was part undead, but she was
I'm
born
natural.
that way.
I'm just,
So
I'm
you
just
guys
born that way.
actually met Caldros' father.
Was he the guy tortured at the bottom there?
Yep. The
Yeah.
I
lich
thought
that was
so.
in the cage. Yeah. Morty.
I thought that might
Yep.
be it, but
Yeah.
we
Come on,
couldn't.
Morty.
We couldn't play around with that whole thing because we had to get the fuck out of there.
There was no time for that nonsense.
Yeah, that was like the worst situation for the players that really like to dive into lore and backstory stuff, because we knew that was something meaningful and big down there, but we also knew that we just did not have the time to explore it.
Someone had to go shouting out names all willy-nilly.
I slipped.
Yeah, because if you guys didn't go through that, there was a huge thing where you would have had to make your way through pretty much what, like the like a small arcane university that was an arcane school that was down at the base of those steps that led up to the Grand Library. We're gonna find journal entries and stuff about like his father and like in his descent into madness and everything.
I volunteered to help Caldros explore that.
I mean, you said library, so Ash will totally do that too.
So here's the thing. At the end, the timekeeper gave us each the book of that lifespan, right?
Yeah.
So I asked, or Caldros asked the timekeeper at the time, are the answers I'm looking for in here? And Rhojin, as the timekeeper, said yes. So he doesn't even need to go exploring. He's just going to read. And if he figures he wants to go down and face this person, whatever's left of him, then he might do that. But honestly, I think being Beholder's bitch is a pretty fitting punishment. So.
Yeah.
Beholder's bitch.
I mean, and yes, Raven, Ash does want drow smut. Because broody drow boys are smexy in the player's eyes. Okay, Groudon. I do know at some point, and again, you this is for everybody. You can answer, reveal as much as you want. But
Sure.
I do know that going to reclaim your kingdom is on our shit list.
Yes.
So feel free to reveal what you want and what you don't want, but what about your backstory that was not revealed yet?
Besides the whole trying to get the kingdom back, for those that don't know, as much as she has never really, she's only mentioned it one time that she had a stepbrother. And he's an asshole because of the fact that he wasn't in line for the throne, but but the fact that another thing is that she has a lot of sisters.
What? Well, I mean, rat folk, so it makes sense, but what? You never once mentioned that shit.
She is not on very good terms with them, and the reason why is because they are very, very competitive. So
like Stardust competitive, if you know what I'm talking about with the brothers.
We're talking about like trying to one up each other, like very badly, like very, very badly, like trying to one up each other, and like also trying to kill each other.
So yeah, so like Stardust. Yep.
Yeah. So if you think that's a little, you think Tickles is fucked up? You haven't seen anything.
How many sisters?
Oh fuck, you know.
If you remember.
If I remembered, I had something. I was going with it. It's let's just say as much as many kids she has is as many sisters she has.
Oh jeez. Okay.
I'm gonna need names for each of them later.
Oh god. They're just like her kids' names. They all start with the same letter.
There's a theme here. There's a theme.
Prima, Secunda, Tertia.
Yeah.
Other than that, before she met Piper, she was very, very into the whole sex life. So she like whoever she finds, she'd fuck. She was a thirsty girl.
Okay. That explains her libido, I guess.
Yes. So she's like, I see that thing. I'm gonna fuck that thing. That's pretty much what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm gonna fuck it. If
So,
it was
so what you're saying is she was the Captain Kirk of the group.
Kind of, yeah. She's very like, she knows when she like it's not like she'll fuck anything. It's more like I like you. I want to fuck you. If she does not like you, she's gonna fucking kill you.
I mean, she's a rat, so that checks out.
Yeah, that's true. You did play rat folk well with that. Hump everything.
Rats and bunnies.
Yep.
Don't get me started on bunnies.
But other than that, all she knows is that like you know how like Rose's family like are like fucking crazy, like psycho.
That is our
my,
opinion.
my family is not crazy and psycho.
Not
Thank you very much.
not your actual dad and all that you're with and all. I mean like you're
Not your
crazy.
adopted family,
Yeah.
your real family.
Yeah, your real family's fine. It's just the fucked up shit. Oh fuck me.
I mean, you know,
It's just that like her mother and father are just fucking crazy. Like legit like psychopath.
Which we'll find out later about that.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I would have loved to explore a little bit more with the pirate city more, but we were only there for a very short amount of time, and it was just so great and beautiful just to be there.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
I wanted at one point like do if I could do a story on like maybe trying to change Cheeseburger back, but I don't know about that. You know,
Cheeseburger wouldn't want to be changed back. Cheeseburger likes who he is.
okay.
That's right, he was cursed. That's
Dude,
right.
Yeah,
Cheeseburger,
it's cursed.
cheeseburger's
right.
amazing. Why would you want to change him back?
I don't know. I
mean,
think she's like
Parrot
her
bear.
her stepdad's like always like been willing to like help her no matter what, and she always been trying to do is like return the favor, and that's why she would go. You know, that's why she's like she would go out and she would like get treasure and stuff for him because she respected the man.
Aw.
So it's like, you know, you've helped me like, you know, get away from all that bullshit when she was in dire need, and I want to try to return the favor. That's why like she's done so much to become higher in the ranks of the pirates, you know, instead of just, you know, I am a princess. No, she's done everything she can to work hard and to like, you know, just be like
Doing everything to make Papa Cheeseburger proud.
pretty fucking much, because her biological parents are just fucking psycho and just never treat her that way, because yeah, she's in line of the fucking throne, but all they would have just used her for was just fucking was fodder. That's all they would have done. Just used her like as
She would have been a puppet princess.
Yeah.
Or a puppet queen.
That's what she would have
Yep.
been. You know, and then, you know, her stepbrother would just more than likely probably be like, I need to kill her. Because in a
Well, he
sense,
sounds psycho.
yeah, like he was supposed to be in line of the throne, but shit happened. So that's why he was like, tried to kidnap me.
And he's a minotaur, right?
Yep.
Yep.
He is a minotaur.
Yep.
Reason
Nope.
why I chose minotaurs
Which-
because the whole minotaur bullshit we had in season 1. I'm like, this will be funny.
Which right now in that part of the area is very rare.
Yeah, because we didn't, but Vincent did some shit.
Yeah, Helios and Hellions Gate are pretty much craters now.
Yep.
I like for just Tickles in general, as well as like for my other characters like
Dice.
Dice. For her, I wanted her to find her lover or try to revive her lover back, but I wanted that whole storyline to be fucked up. Like
Oh, it was gonna be.
it was gonna be hella fucked.
Oh, if you stuck with dice. Yeah.
Her lover was a
Dragon?
was a dragonborn, and like she fell in love with an evil dragonborn.
Oh.
Yeah, like
Just because I can, what color?
I want to say chromatic, but I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, possible.
I mean, they're
I think
usually
that-
the stereotypical evil of the.
Yeah,
The ones.
every make of dragon there is a dragonborn version of,
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
If
it's
there's
like
not, I'll make it.
and the dragonborn don't necessarily take on the traits of their their sires.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and that's why like Dice was like heavily trying to go into the necromancy because she wanted to revive her and bring her back. You know, no matter if it was like good intentions, but bad intentions.
Poor execution.
Poor execution. She's like, oh great, I got my lover back. Bad, she wants to murder me. You know, type of thing. That's what I wanted, and then you know it would have been kind of cool. And
I'll tell you right now, my plan was like you would have gone through there, did it, resurrected her, and it would have turned into a boss fight because it wasn't her that came back.
yeah,
Okay, I do have to have a follow-up question really quick. I'm
Sure.
going off the rails a little bit.
yeah.
This is actually a little bit more for Rhojin because he would know this.
Okay.
Where the fuck is Dice?
Trying to find my
And
cow.
is she alive?
She's alive.
Okay.
She's alive.
She's alive
Okay.
and well.
Maybe that's part of a one-shot. Maybe we'll encounter her. Who knows?
Oh no!
Part of their shit list is
well,
kill the
yeah,
cow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well for Dice is debatable.
Yeah.
I mean, are we talking well physically? Because you sure as fuck ain't well mentally.
If I were to play Dice, I want to just play throughout the whole like maxed out level of chaos bullshit. Like, hey, how's it going? Everyone's like, no.
We would all murder you instantly.
Yeah, it's not that we hated Dice as a person. We just hated all the trouble that she caused.
It's just like Dice walks into the room, and for some reason we just hear like multiple audible shotguns racking.
Hey,
It's like
I'm
you just hear the
gonna
sounds
go.
behind some double doors. You open it up, and it's just a bunch of just bullet shells everywhere, and it's just
She
a dead
doesn't
cow.
mean any harm. She's just a sweet, loving cow that just likes to read. It's just that her magic is highly unstable.
Look, the
She's
plan was
highly unstable.
The plan was calculated, but God, if I'm bad at math.
That's pretty much
Yeah.
how she is. She's like, oh dear, what do I do with this? Oh God.
Fireball.
Okay. You know, panic. It was a panic fireball. Everyone's frozen. Fireball. Oh no.
Yeah, Zale and Ash will never forget that moment
Nope.
ever.
After
Fruit
the
can't be
last
cold if he casts
fight,
fireball.
after the last fight we did with Dice, Caldross was ready to stab her in her sleep.
I
More
won't
than
lie.
half health down when the freaking cow
I
just
won't
wanted to
lie.
fireball
I
on top of me.
loved using that spell that would just bounce to you guys. It was great.
The chaos bolt.
Yes, it was so
Yeah.
beautiful.
We
Fuck
all
the
wanted to murder
chaos
the cow.
ball.
That's why we're like, it's not
So-
you that we hate. Okay, it's
Yeah,
you.
it was like Dice was the main reason that Rose took Counterspell.
I mean, you should just take counterspell in general because it's fucking badass. But
if you want to spin it in a positive way, you could say that no other character unified the party in the same way that Dice did.
Yeah. Like it was a collective fuck
That's
that
true.
cow.
yep, that's very true. It's very true.
That's why she's like, I'm gonna get away from this group until most of them are dead.
Yeah, yep. Speaking of getting away from the group, Rose,
Ooh.
what about
Me?
your backstory that wasn't revealed?
Money. Oh God. There's a. Well.
The bear.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure people wonder why like Rose had this hard on for this bear. She
Now,
wanted to
if it
kill
was it a bear folk?
He's a bear folk.
Okay, I didn't know if it was an
So-
owl bear or a bear folk.
Yeah. So it never came up because Rhojin really never introduced more than two, and the other one that was in a city and was a guard, and she couldn't just basically just take out her moonblade and cut his throat open. But her favorite enemy is bear folk. She despises all Urson kind.
And yet we
She-
never
she-
really saw them.
She does not care like where you came from, what you are. She doesn't want anything to do. It's basically a blood hate. The bear in question killed one of her older brothers. So basically, so how her family operates is kind of like the IRA, because they're technically an Irish mob. But part of her family is the knuckle dusters. basically these are the guys that go out and like do all the, not public facing bullshit that, needs to be rough. One of her older brothers was the leader of basically that group, and he was killed by specifically that particular bear folk in such a way that he was I treat it like I wanted to have it be like somewhat cultural, even though I'm not Irish. I only know like 3 Irish people. But I mean, just from cultural lore, Ireland has a lot of weird blood feud stuff. So I wanted to incorporate that. So I didn't want to go like the Hatfield and McCoy route because most people do that and it's kind of played out. So I wanted to have like what would make her hate all like Urson. Well, basically like her favorite older brother was not only killed in a mission where it had nothing to do with this particular family, but the way he was killed was particularly brutal, and his body was basically disposed of on their land like he was just garbage. So because of the nature of how where she lives in the Shadow Realm is, there couldn't be open war between the two families because it would cause too much problems for everyone else in the surrounding area. So there's like this backhanded blood feud between the two families. And that's where her hatred for Bearfolk comes, because she never knows exactly what Bearfolk is a part of that particular family. So she's just like, oh well, I'll just kill everyone I can and just to make sure.
And yet, ironically, played a bearfolk in another story too.
Oh yeah, well I mean, they're also cool. Like read the Midgard Bearfolk paragraphs. They're fucking awesome. Of course, I want to play a Bearfolk. So I mean that's the reason why she hates Ursula. But yeah, that sadly that part never really got fully explored, because again she also is. Her mission for being out in the prime material was for her mother set up black markets along the prime material, which is why every time you guys were in a town doing whatever dumb shit you guys were doing, she'd duck out, because basically she was setting up black markets in towns that either A, didn't have a black market, or introducing herself to the existing black market to basically get her family in for the eventual takeover.
Which reminds me, Rose set us up for that big, battle royale in Glimmercross. We should go do that.
I mean,
like episode
Isn't
4.
the town dead?
Nope, it got restored.
It got restored.
It got restored.
It got restored. But
So
yeah,
does that mean everything's memories and shit back?
No,
Maybe it was more of like a quick little reset
pretty
from the
much,
last moments.
yeah,
Well,
pretty much.
I
Pretty
mean,
much, it was like when it pretty much got destroyed. That never happened. It's in nobody's memory. Everybody was just restored. Everyone has a little bit of lost time because they're like, why the fuck are we missing, a week and a half? But
I mean, in Rose's defense about the whole thing about the gladiatorial combat, she knew you guys were the underdogs, like to the bookies. She knew you guys were gonna like basically rafflecopter whoever came into that ring. So she basically was like,
Ash would've.
I'm gonna get all of my guys into that ring as the underdogs and just drop every bit of coin I have on them and just walk out with bank. I mean, it was for her it was a setup. It was like, oh, it's like, sure, I have these rubes you can like crack heads on, and like, yeah, sure, I got some people that'll give you a good fight for your boys, so we can like make some cash out of this. So yeah,
we're gonna know some jobbers.
Yeah, she totally was setting up the bookies for a fall,
Which Ash would have totally done anyway. Let's see. For Ash, the only thing that really didn't pop up was we didn't talk about the family of Visilu. They were a vampire hunting family, and basically long ago, like, her dad wronged this one human, and it like crippled him for life, so he like swore revenge on killing vampires, the classic thing. And then one day, Ash, when she was really little, did her thing where she would, run off on her own, because being trapped in a castle sucks. And she encountered this little human girl, and they became really fast friends. And then as their friendship progressed, I had it to where, like, something happened where, like, she was at that age where she was so young she couldn't control her bloodlust or anything yet, to a certain extent. So when the little girl, like, hurt herself and some blood was coming out, the only thing that Ash did was, like, her eyes just flashed red. And it freaked her out because she saw her fangs and everything and tried to kill her. And that's when Ash's brother came and, like, almost killed this little girl and everything. And that's what he became, like, super protective ever since. And so because she was terrified, she eventually grew up, had a daughter, tried to befriend Ash again, and Ash, like, full on got stabbed in the back at one point, almost died because she wasn't being careful. She just wanted friends, and once again her brother came to save her. So we never really, and she survived too. I think she got crippled as well by her brother. This is this poor family. And so, we never really dipped into that, but it was, there was, like, some surviving members of that family that tried to fuck with Ash's family. And I think that was pretty much it. Everything else, like, she had a pretty boring life. Well, I mean, as far as, like, tragic backstories, kind of go. She had a very happy life aside from that, from being literally killed by other people.
She was literally a smut monster.
When you're trapped inside, what are you gonna do? There's no TV.
Your parents ever told you to go outside and do something?
She did. That's when she would escape.
Go outside and touch some grass. Oh crap, she got loose again.
How does this keep happening? All right, we keep telling her to go out.
Yeah. Pretty much, it didn't happen the first time, but pretty much, when she was like, ooh, I'm gonna, be sneaky and go out on my own, that was, like, a huge red flag to her family. They're like, yeah, no, this ain't happening. Yeah, that was pretty much it. So, yeah. So now that we got that out of the way, this might be a quick question for everybody, but I have a quick little thing to ask everyone. What was your inspiration for your characters' names?
Asked you what I should name my character.
That's true. You did. You're like, I need a last name too. And I was like, this sounds cool. And he's like, sweet, I'm doing that. I'm like, all right. That's true. That's how Caldross got his name.
Well, Rose's true Gaelic name is actually translated into Dark Little Rose.
Is that what Rosaline means? Or her full name?
Her Gaelic name is HBFox.
Got it.
So it's a little translation for, I think Roshan is Gaelic for little rose, or like a not fully grown rose, and Derb is, and I'm totally mispronouncing it, so anyone who's watching this and is Irish and has Gaelic descendants, I'm sorry. I can roll my R's for Spanish, but my tongue doesn't handle Gaelic well. So, but Derb is basically dark or darkness, rough translations. So, and the thing is because you never, she was raised in a crime family. You don't give away your real name. So basically, Rosaline Thorne is her alias.
Okay. Anyone else?
I've mentioned this before, but I will say it's on the record. But I based Tickles off of the little rat from The Land Before Time: Journey Through the Mists.
Oh God.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because Ducky was all like, "Oh, you're all fuzzy and tickly. I shall name you Tickles." And I actually really enjoyed that movie a lot, and I really do like rats. I just love little rats. People don't like them because they're like, "Oh no." So I do, depending on of course the species, but.
I had a little rat growing up named Stella Luna, and she had 3 legs.
I'm adorable.
I'm a born and bred New Yorker, man. You cannot convince me in any way, shape, or form.
And ever since I've done like D&D, I can't, this to those who actually play the human race, by all means play it. I can't stand playing anything that's just basic human. So I was like, at the time I was like, what can I play that people are like haven't done, or that's like not like, that's very rare to play. And I was like going through the list, and then I was like, can I do a rat? So I asked, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So,
rat
yeah,
folk
that's
are a
why.
thing.
Yep.
So yeah.
And I just love all types of freaking, like
like the creature races.
yeah, creature racers. It's just been my thing. Like at one point, if I want to play a gnoll, absolutely, I'll play a gnoll.
Yeah, you all give me a challenge as an artist, which I guess is something I need. But I'm going to tell you right now, out of everyone I have drawn so far, Raven's Campaign 3 character was the one that I was the most proud of. I was like, yes.
Are you talking about the cat?
This.
Oh,
No,
wait,
no one knows.
No.
It's Campaign
no,
3.
We don't know what he looks like.
know.
yet.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, fine. Yours was, yeah, okay, whatever. But his was more fun. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Y'all will know Tuesday. But still, his was fun, okay? Anyway.
So I have a really unsatisfying answer to that question.
Okay.
In that
I'm sorry.
the names for both Keo and Zale, there was no inspiration.
You just wrote
Just kind of
names.
thought of it.
I was just in the process of writing the backstories for the characters. At some point during that process, the name just popped into my head, and that was it. And that's
There's
how I
nothing wrong
name
with
most of my characters. It's as the character themselves is developing, these aspects kind of just reveal themselves in the process, and that's what it is.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If something just comes to you that's like, that sounds cool. There doesn't
Yeah.
have to be some deep, logical,
That's-
researched explanation.
Yeah, that's usually how I figure out race. That's how I figure out class. That's how I figure out names. That's how I figure out parts of their backstory. Is just while building one part of the character tells me another part about them, and then that's what it is.
Okay. And I don't know if Raven, if you're relaxing or anything right now, but since you were in chat earlier, if you want to tell us any kind of inspiration behind Tyrison, Callistra, definitely let us know. For Ash, I just always liked the name Ashton. It just was, I had someone in softball growing up named Ashton. But I actually revolved it first around the word Ash, because I was just like, Ash is just like a cool name. It's just like that cool short name. And I was like, but what's something a little bit more like elegant for like a noble woman? I'm like, okay, Ashton. Let's just do Ashton, but she'll go by Ash. And then her last name, though, I did do some research. I wanted something kind of elegant and exotic, but meant something. So I did some research, and it's actually Latin is her last name, Dolens Morte, and it means accepting death. And it's basically them just being fine with their lifespan, and then when it's time, they're just like, yeah, well, I've already lived thousands of years, sure, you know. But I just thought it was cool to have kind of something Latin and old, but sounded cool when it rolls off the tongue. Ashton Dolens Morte. So that was it for her. All right, now that I got that out of the way, do you guys have any questions for each other? The floor is open. Oh, really quick. Sorry. So sorry. Raven actually responded. Tyrus didn't even remember where it came from. I think it just popped in my head. And Callistra came from a book of character names he had curated over time for MMOs and RPG characters. So I had that on the back burner. That's really cool. I do that too sometimes. Okay, now go.
I do have a question for Rhojin.
It can't be
Okay.
why.
It's not. It's
we all
No.
we all know there is no why.
there is no why. My question was, out of all of the characters for like storylines and just everything that like you're like, the question for you is why? To our characters, would be is like, which one was the most like, I can't handle this character anymore.
Like the most challenging character?
course.
I don't think there was ever a character like that. because like all of your characters just allowed me to spawn so much insanity from them and then from their backstories and their history that I don't think I ever got tired of anything. I will say that the one that kept me on my toes the most was Dice, because of her love of like pretty much treating the group as collateral damage.
It's because of her I wanted a scarf of fire resistance. Because all the damage that was done to me, less than half my health, was
I am so
fucking
sorry.
Dice. I was like,
It's
Dice,
like when-
you can move
it's
that over
like
5 feet. 5
When
feet.
you go into a fight and one of the party members does more damage to the group than the actual monsters.
And you're like,
I allowed this.
And this was like, it wasn't a dreadnought. What were we fighting? I can't remember. It was just a huge ass creature. It was already intense. And I'm like, this fucking cow is doing more damage to me than this creature.
No. My favorite Dice moment is the tomb with Ash's mom.
Yeah.
And then
Making it rain
in
fire.
her
Rain
in-
rum
yeah,
and then casting fireball.
So it's like her wild magic. It's like, oh, it's raining rum, and I'm like, and then like she's gesticulating, and there's like I see arcane fire coming from her hands, and I'm like, no, you dumb bitch, do not cast any fire spells in a room full of alcohol. What are you doing?
The good news
You know,
is it was
that
a
was-
catacomb that was all like stone, so thank God for that. But yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah, you
That-
literally
that
just
was a
turned into a
good
pizza
one.
oven.
But
Oh,
I think for me, the moment that my opinion of Dice turned was the first time she did damage to us, which was in that ice lair when Zale and Ash fell in that pit. And Zale was tall enough to literally see over the edge of the pit while standing in it.
Because it had spikes growing out of it, like ice spikes.
Yeah, like Zale could have climbed out of that without even making a check. But Dice thought that was the right time to somehow assist the party by throwing a fireball at them.
Not once, not twice. 3 times this bitch threw a fireball down there. And the worst part was she was trying to be helpful by getting rid of the spikes, because the more the spikes were growing, the more damage it was doing. But the second you got rid of the spikes, they started regrowing again, and you kept doing it.
And,
It was like,
and Zale's just standing there looking at you out of the pit because she's so tall that her head sticks up out of it. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
and you could have easily just reached
It's
down to
that-
grab Ash and pull her out, so it's not like we were in danger.
It's literally that picture in the Kyo this is fine image with Tara's just like, why?
It was just really funny. It was just so funny because again, you could have easily just climbed out, grab Ash, pull her out.
Mhm.
We were fine. We were in no other danger other than the small amount
Yep.
of cold damage we were getting. It was like,
oh,
what the fuck?
I love those weird moments. It's like, is this the right time to do it? Fuck it, we're gonna do it anyway. I'll add that to my list of set me on fire, please.
The funny thing is, you didn't stop. You kept doing it.
And no one told her to stop. That was the worst part. No one told her to stop. And after
I
the
think-
first one,
I think we were all just too shocked
flabbergasted
Yeah.
to really say
Just like-
anything.
Yeah.
Like, do you not understand? You are not helping.
Because even Zale's just like, yo, you, no, we're good, we're fine. Here, let me just.
the thing, like, I just picture her. It's like you guys are in there, and then she's like bent down, kind of looking like down the pit. She's like, I wonder if I just do this, and just doing it, and just not paying attention to her surroundings. Just like, okay, oh, they keep growing. Screw this. And then she forgot that they were there. Like, oh, fuck.
Like, oh, there
Yeah,
are
the
people
logic
in
was
that
there.
fucking pit.
The logic was there. It was executed poorly.
Poorly.
It made for a great moment, just like this, where we
Ugh.
look back on it and just laugh.
I do have a couple more questions, unless someone else wants to ask.
No, go for it. We're doing an extended
Okay.
time for this, so until everyone's
Uh,
sick and tired of us.
Both
within a
both
certain
of
amount
these
time.
are going to go towards Rhojin, though.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna say the one that is a little bit more more than likely a less answer. Rhojin, have you ever fudged your numbers in order to save one of us?
Nope.
No. Okay. And-
I have never fudged a number in here because there are way too many of you to fudge a number.
Okay. My
Like,
next
we've got 7 or 8 people. If somebody gets nailed big time, you have enough people to have
to like save us.
like healing spells, or in Ash's
Look.
literally
Okay.
killed Halteris. Or like in Ash's case, you know, she's got 8 bags of holding full of potions.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they're there, you guys have the ability to heal one another.
And
No, you
I mean-
assume Ash is gonna use them, sir.
I mean, you know, in Rhojin's defense, our team was only ever in danger of dying if something could literally, like, catastrophically damage us to the point where, you know, it's insta death.
Well, hold on a second.
There was a handful of those
I died
moments,
4
yeah.
times.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, and I mean, you
you
know,
also made poor choices.
those are really poor choices and none of us were around to save you from those poor choices.
You
A couple
learned
of
from
those,
them.
my fault.
And
You
also,
did
Tickles
learn
did
from
kill
them
you once.
eventually.
That too.
Yeah, I'm just really happy, to be completely honest, because we fought so many things that were either demon, undead, or bugs. You were really my only true opportunity to like turn someone into a vampire. Because I probably would have done it a lot more if we didn't deal with those other 3 creature types, because hell no on bugs. Obviously undead won't work, and demons won't work, so it's like, alright, well, here we go, Zale, I'm gonna save your life.
And you know what? After you did that, she was totally going to eat more of those vampire ghoul things, but you explicitly said, no, don't do that. And she had to abide because she was turned at that time.
That's true. I was also
'Cause her
hoping that was a
logic
hard
was-
lesson.
Now I'm one of these. I can eat them.
Well, there's also the whole like, hey, do you want to be mind controlled? You're lucky that I'm your master right now. It could be worse. So yeah, that was funny. Okay, what's your...
I do regret, speaking of Zale, I do regret Rose and Zale did not get the opportunity to spend more time like doing poison shit together. Because
Yeah, that's
there was never a real opportunity to basically, you know, just take advantage of it, considering, you know, the armor that Rose had and the skill that Zale had was the perfect combination to like, oh, I made some new horrible shit poison.
yeah.
Sure. Shunk. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I had been keeping track of each of the things that Zale attempted to make alchemically throughout the campaign, and the things that she successfully did as well. A lot of them were amazing poisons that would have been great for Rose, and also great in those viper blades that Zale gave to her daughter. And at some point, I'm not putting a timeline on this because I slack on so many projects, but at some point I'm going to take all of those creations of hers and actually make an alchemy book, Zale's alchemy book, out of it, with all the recipes and the
cool.
ingredients and everything.
Well, Nyrix has taken up that banner now with all her poisons when she can. Oh, what was the second question that you had for him?
my question is, out of, it doesn't have to be season 2. It could be also the first as well. But what has always been your favorite moments in the campaign itself? It could be a battle. It could be someone doing something stupid. It could just be something that you just loved outright.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think it would be any time I've made you guys just verbally say "holy fuck." Like
That's a
anytime
lot.
like anytime there was like a big reveal or something like that that caught people off guard or completely threw a screwball in your plans. I think it's like that's my favorite thing, is to just fuck your plans up as much as possible.
We're trying to be good players and have plans.
I know. But when you have a maniacal asshole like me who has contingency plans for stuff that you do.
Okay, from now on, we're just gonna make like fake plans, and then we'll be like, "Ha ha! We were
didn't even
really
plan
going
that!"
to do this."
I will say one of my favorite things of season 2 was when you guys actually went on vacation.
Really?
When you guys
Oh,
went,
that's awesome.
when you guys went to Tortiga and you guys were
It took
just
130
relaxing.
episodes, but we got there.
You finally got your beach episode without some maniacal god.
Yep. Which was good. I mean, for those of you who don't know, 143
What was his name, Steve?
episodes. Gary.
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 Yep.
Fuck Gary.
143 episodes
What was the
total.
purpose of Gary
Finally
anyway? I
got it.
forgot about him.
Gary was the direct response to
Somebody reading a book.
to Zale not listening to Rose when their relationship was infantile.
Oh God.
And then trying to sneak it on Ash.
Well,
Well, the thing is in Rose's defense, Rose is like, when someone who tells you something is dangerous, don't fuck with it, and then you decide, I don't know that bitch, I'm gonna do it. She's like, fuck around and find out.
I've gotta defend my baby here, little baby Zale. She did explicitly ask Rose, well, why is this dangerous? What could it do? And Rose knew the answer to that question, but refused to share that information,
I didn't
which
say
is why Zale did what she did.
Yeah, well, the thing is, again, she's like, I'm not laying out my hand. I'm like, look, I know this is dangerous. You can either trust me and say, okay, or not trust me and fuck around and find out. And honestly, that's how Rose was when she first started adventuring. She was all about, fuck around and find out. I mean, if you think about a lot of the things that happened with Rose, when someone who was in the know said something and Rose was like, ooh, that might be fucked up, Rose didn't bother with whatever the fuck that was, because her safety was the number one paramount thing. She was like, oh, these guys are just here, as a means to an end. I'm not gonna risk my well-being because they're dumb.
In Zale's defense, this is where she got character development. She had to die about 4 times, technically 3, because one of them was not her fault.
I'm sorry.
For her to learn that there are certain things she probably should and should not do. And
2
we
of them
saw
were her
that.
fault. One of them was Tickle's fault. The other just kind of happened.
I feel like they were your fault.
2 of them were, absolutely.
Which is fantastic.
I even remember watching the episode where Tickles bought a cannon, shot it straight up in the air, and killed Zale.
Mhm.
So
Zale, who was laying in a hospital bed somewhere else.
Yeah. And didn't have an arm.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I was like, how much we have to pay them to restore her arm
Zale
and
spoke
then
to the
revive
trees.
her because she died. Oh, it was great.
Zale was the Lorax for that day.
We do actually have a couple questions. I'll just read these out really quickly, just to get them out of the way. But Azharen actually wanted to ask this for Gilatam, for Tar Shara, and she basically was asking them as Rose. Do you think your parents will like me? And she said, I think so. I just think you should be aware that when you meet my dad, that he is not human, though he would appear so. And there's some awkwardness because his race has been a long-kept family secret and needs to continue to be. She did not reveal anything else about that. She also, so the other question was, are you opposed to me trying to find a way to extend your life? She said, as long as I get to spend my extended life with you, I'm fine with it.
Aww.
God, I'm diabetic and that thing's killing me.
Oh, it gets. Oh, if that's the case, then you know what? Here comes some more sugar.
sweet.
Here comes some more sugar because I got 2 more questions.
Oh,
So
God.
we have, once we've settled everyone's unfinished business, will you marry me?
Isn't that like an in-game thing?
That's what that's what she's wondering.
We're having a wedding?
So here's the thing. First of all, lots of squealing, lots of blushing, lots of heart eyes as she goes, yes!
Okay,
Oh my God, are we going to have a wedding one shot?
What you're telling me is that now I have to make a wedding one shot.
That's what she asked. She said, are we going to have a wedding
And
one
a
shot?
lot of sex.
And then the final
There's
question-
also the whole Kaldros and Fira engagement that
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So I'm hearing that Kyo now has to officiate 2 weddings.
Yeah. And then the final question was, when I'm ready, would you allow me to change your sex long enough to impregnate me? I want to bear our children. Your eyes, Rhojin. And she said, I'm not sure, but for you and only for you, I would think about it. Winky face.
There are spells that exist that do that.
Yep. I mean,
I
Zale's
can give you a
Zale's
spell.
the proof of it.
the only reason why I put that question in there is because A, of what happened with Zale, and B, she has it in with the current, Archfey running the summer court. So,
True.
So
The Archfey running the summer court is, technically her lackey.
I mean, he's elevated to a pit boss, so she wouldn't call him, her lackey. I mean, it would be disrespectful to the office.
Right. But yeah, that was those questions, and Tarshar's
that question
answers.
is like out of left field. It's like, okay,
That's what she's like.
Yeah.
Well, I've never thought about it, but you know what? I probably, for you. We'll talk about it down the road.
magic exists.
Yep. So yeah, there's some sugar-coated candy for you there.
Right. I can just hear the mind of Roj right now. He's like, fuck me.
No, Rose and Tarashara.
I know. He's like, shit, I gotta make shit. Why are you guys doing this to me?
Wedding one shot.
Wedding one shot.
Yay.
So I've got a couple questions for Rhojin.
Go for it.
One of which you kind of touched on already, but just gotta say, I love the fact that you hated the Underdark so much that you allowed me to put it in your world just so you could destroy it. So question one, what did happen? What did actually happen? Because I'm not planning on pursuing it for a one shot of the his adopted father in the Underdark and them not being there anymore.
He fucked it up. Once Kaldros ran away, he decided, screw it, we'll do it live. And it kind of sort of worked, but not to the way that he wanted it to. He ended up pretty much dooming everybody in that city to slowly but surely just withering down and either dying or becoming twisted abominations that were running throughout the caverns that were around the cities. You had the few that were still alive when the ghouls came in, and they inflicted those who wanted to quote unquote survive. They inflicted them with Dracul fever to give them a chance to evolve. But yeah, he and his inner circle, it was a catastrophic failure. Without Tyrus being I keep on confused.
Still
seeing
doing
Tyrus
it.
now. It's because I
Campaign's long over and he's still doing it.
I saw Tyrus in chat. That's why. But without Kaldros, they didn't have the catalyst to be able to bring the Celestials down in order to sacrifice them to gain power.
Wait, were you part Asmar?
That's
Asmar.
yeah. He was actually, his actual race was Asamar, but
Yeah, he was an
of
Asamar,
Drow
but a
descent.
Drow.
Yeah. Because when you think about it, a lot of the classes that people don't realize is that Asamar just means you have your descendants and have some celestial blood. You can look like an elf and be an Asamar. You don't have to look like a human. You could be a lizard folk and be an Asamar. It's just as an example, because it's just your blood.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did with Durden. I mean, no one ever saw it, but Durden was Asamar, but he just, his mortal side was Drow.
Yeah, and now Asamar isn't even just limited to Celestial. It's expanded to all sorts of bloodlines. Like Antia, she was a Fae Asamar.
A Faesamar.
Faesamar.
I want to make a tiefling now that's an Asamar.
All those lineages, from hell, from the abyss,
I thought
celestial
I couldn't do
planes,
that.
Fae, it's all possible now. Didn't used to be, but it is now.
Yeah.
What was that, Groudon?
I thought I couldn't do that.
At that time, you couldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at that time it was celestial only.
Yeah.
And since tieflings are technically considered the spawn of outsiders.
Yeah.
So now I can
But-
do a
but-
class that is both good and
Equally-
evil.
Well, no, because
No, I
there
mean-
are evil. There
They're
are
not really
like
evil.
evil Asimar out
Well,
there.
you know what?
Yeah.
Like what like there, Baldur's Gate had one. Sarevok was an evil Asimar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Think about it this way though. The perfect example, I know it has nothing to do with D&D, but the perfect example is Dante from Devil May Cry.
Mm.
He had a celestial mother, demon daddy. Technically, in a way, he is like a tiefling Asimar. And by the D&D terms.
Tiefamar.
Tiefamar. Acifling. No.
I mean, but
Ace-
also
No, Aceling. Aceling. Come on.
Aceling. Yeah, Aceling. You're
Oh,
pro
shit.
at gambling.
Aceling.
Aceling.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry, I died.
So, second question is
I got killed by a clown.
back when you first introduced Fira into the campaign and we had our break, I tried to get information on her to like determine where this relationship might go, and you refused to tell me who she was in service to. I want to know.
She is actually in service to Zutmoy, the demon lord Fungus.
Oh yeah, that's
I mean, it
Zara's
makes sense.
Yep, that's Zara's mom.
yep. I mean that makes sense.
After No Way Out, I thought that might be the case, but again, so, but there was a dynamic there where she had been entrusted with that chime,
Mm-hmm.
and you maybe this was just my perspective, but I felt like you were putting a good spin on it. What was the reason she was entrusted with that chime by Zuckmoy?
It needed to remain on the mortal plane, and so since Fira was pretty much devoted to her in like all causes at the start, she's like, okay, yeah, sure, you take it. But the chime itself could not leave the mortal plane. It could not stay in the hells. It could not stay in the abyss. It had to be with the mortals.
Ooh.
So she just entrusted it to somebody who she knew was not going to stab her in the back.
There you go.
So I've got a few questions, but I would like to start with a question for Ash that I've been curious about since the hour-long argument that we had about it in game.
I think I know what you're gonna ask.
Why was she so reluctant to give up that goddamn sword, knowing that it was almost guaranteed to kill her at some point?
Because it looked cool.
I have a terrible answer for you. Terrible
God.
answer.
I expect nothing less.
Me as the player was selfish. I had this kick-ass weapon. And you want me to give it up?
superiority. It was so you had a small superiority complex. That's
I
what
did.
it was. That's what it
I
was.
did.
I know that feeling so well.
Well, the thing was that was so cool about it is I would activate the blade. I can be completely naked, activate the blade, and I would have my armor on. So it's
And
like I
then-
had that
and
security
then it would kill
blanket.
you.
And not at the time. But to make it make sense for Ash is that her goal for the longest time was to be not necessarily the strongest member of the group, but to be strong enough to protect the group because these were her friends. She wanted to do everything in her power to protect them, and if that means this blade so she can keep this power to protect them, continue protecting them, she would. But then she was also conflicted because the whole oh, it would destroy me, but there's nothing else that's better. This will make me stronger and strong enough to protect everybody. So it was kind of a conflicting moment, but realistically, the first primary reason was I was selfish and I wanted to keep it.
And so you had a selfishness moment, but you also had a moments where, even though it'll kill me, I want to protect my friends.
Yes.
So in a sense, you had a good reasons.
which is great, but I really wish Zale was there for that moment, because there's no way Kyo was getting involved in that argument, but Zale
That's fair.
would.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because Tartar explained that blade in every iteration of the book killed Ash before we achieved our goal.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reason to believe that this time would be any different. And the reasoning for wanting to keep the blade to protect your friends is great, but you also know that it's going to kill you before you actually get to protect your friends.
So here's another side to that, where Ash absolutely hated that there were stories about us from the past. She was
I don't
like,
think
"This
that was
is me."
a secret.
Yeah, she was like, this is me and my destiny. No fucking book's gonna tell me otherwise. Which is funny and ironic, because, you know, she loves stories, but she's like, no, if this is about me and what I've done in the past, no. I was like, I'm gonna either change it or whatever, but I don't believe it. This is me now, and this is how I'm gonna make my story work. So I felt bad, and I had to tell Gillitan at the beginning, I'm like, I'm so sorry if my character comes off slightly bitchy to you at first, because she's not liking this whole, well, I know everything about you because of these stories of like 100 versions of you. And she just was not fond of that at all.
I'm the total opposite. I love the hell out of that thing. She was like, holy crap, I did all these things? I fucked that many people? That's my favorite position. What the hell? I'm a queen? I'm not a queen. I died. Shit.
Yeah.
That's an instance where I loved playing a character like Kyo, because, you know, Tartar would explain all these different paths that we've taken and all the stuff that she knows, and Kyo's response is just, okay.
You don't have to think too hard about it.
Great, let's move on.
Yep. So yep. That was it.
I have a question for regarding Kyo.
Yes.
Was Kyo ever going to entrust in anyone that her plan for the artifact breaker was to basically like break Zale's axe and challenge her for the clan?
Yep.
So that's something that I'm a little sad never got explored too deeply, because that's what she tried to make everyone think her plan was, but that wasn't what her plan was.
Okay.
She was mad at Zale,
Okay.
and she wanted to see Zale hurt for various reasons. But the Worldbreaker artifact was actually to get revenge on her mother, the shaman who pushed her to take part in that ritual that made her what she was. She wanted to essentially dismantle and destroy everything that her mother built in her life, and then at the end of it kill her mother, just as a form of revenge for doing to her what she did.
I
And
definitely
that's why
thought
she
it was
got the
Zale.
Worldbreaker.
I definitely thought it was for Zale, because we're like, okay, it's very clear she doesn't like Zale. And of
Yeah.
course, me being Ash, because the way you played it was like, okay, she's not out flat saying it. So of course we're just like, yeah, sure, no, we'll help you. But me as the player's like, she's fucking gonna kill Zale.
Yeah, she wanted to hurt Zale, because in Kyo's mind, Kyo was made for war. She was created to be a weapon for war. That was her one and only purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zale came along and took the war away. So
Yep.
Zale took Kyo's purpose away from her, and Kyo was not happy about that.
But did
See,
we
now
give you purpose?
I really wish that came out, because in Rose's backstory, Rose was basically made to be a weapon as well. So like her whole, like her thing was, so like the tattoo on her back that she initially had was basically a completion marker. So basically once the tattoo was fully formed, it was basically whatever master plan Sarstrasa had for Rose was going to basically enact. And I left that completely under Rhojin's purview, because I was just like, well, I know she's gonna try and turn this bitch into a fucking weapon of some kind. I don't know what it is, and I might have to kill the party. But I don't want to know. But that's the plan. It's like, you know, there's a countdown timer on her back.
Yeah. I kind of wish that was revealed in the game as well, because Ash would have been like heartbroken, and she was just like, you are more than a weapon. It's like, not to like sound like Snowdrop, but I mean, Ash like would have tried to find a purpose for you, because she's like, this is not who you are. This is not what defines you. You're going to find purpose, which is why I was so happy as a player when you started having like this like romance with the Havarl, because I'm like, oh my god, maybe Kyo can like find some, yes, fun times with him, but fun times as in like be something with him instead of just being a weapon.
Yeah, she was a tough character to play at times. She shared a lot of similarities, though not to the same extreme. She shared a lot of similarities with Asthea as far as the self-hatred goes.
Except we didn't want to kill Kyo.
Well, not all the time. Kyo was a character that really, really needed someone to love her more than she hated herself. And I don't know if that's something that she has found or will find with Rex, but it's kind of been with her since the start, and it's why she's so closed off, and it's why she's just really accepting of anything that happens, whether it's good or bad, because it doesn't impact her all that much, because she doesn't feel like she's enough of a person to have that impact.
So a follow-up question for Kyo would be, at one point would you have resurrected Tiras because you were very in love with him?
No.
No?
The thing with Tiras was, and I never discussed any of this with Raven, ever.
Oh.
So that just, everything that
this
happened,
crazy bitch wants me.
is what everyone saw. But kind of in my headcanon for Kyo, she watched Tiras a lot from afar in that year break when Tiras spent a bunch of time in Daggertree, and
stalker.
Yeah, she was a stalker, but she never had enough courage or enough bravery to approach him about it. So she just watched from afar, and when she got the opportunity to travel with him, she was really excited, and the more that she saw of his story and learned of his story, she started to think of him kind of as like the counter to her. She was made for war, but she saw Tiras as someone that was made to bring peace to his people. And that really drew her to him, and then he died before she really got to act on it. So.
And that's one of her choices she regrets, right?
Yeah, because she was so close to talking to him. Aww. And then she also knew that he didn't want to be brought back. Like, that's something that the party had discussed before with her present. So she wasn't going to go against his wishes and try and bring him back, which is why she instead wanted to make sure that his goal was achieved with all the souls and the bell that she rang and everything.
Which I loved.
If there was an option and you would have talking to Tiras, would she spoke with him?
I don't think so. Kyo, if you haven't noticed, not great with her words. So she
no.
She talks by taking action. That's how she communicates. And
her and the Havarl are perfect.
I think, and she feels like she said everything that she needed to say by helping achieve Tiras's goals.
Awesome.
I wanted them to be together.
I know. Like, no!
I have a question for Azharen.
Yes.
You talked about it a lot, and I was always curious, like, how far your character would push this. But if if like say like Tarshar never showed up and all that stuff, would you at some point have Rose kill Turok?
Yes,
Really?
I had a plan.
Okay, I need to know your plan.
He's got the heart. He's got the heart. It's cool.
It's not gonna happen now. So I mean,
but hypothetically, what would you have done?
What was he doing?
Oh well, so basically, so the plan revolved. So she knew that basically, like his thorn heart was basically the only way she was gonna be able to get rid of him, and she didn't have a actual, productive way of actually figuring out how to get rid of it. So before the betrayal from from Bear Dude, she was going to basically work out a deal and find him a better candidate for the thorn heart. If he told Rose basically how to deactivate it, so she'd have a chance to basically murk his ass on the sly.
It's probably a good thing that never happened then, because it wouldn't have worked. The Briarheart wasn't necessarily just the singular chosen one. The Briarhearts were something that were given out to like his most devoted followers.
She didn't know that.
Yeah.
She just wanted them dead.
I mean, wouldn't Turok still technically die of like not natural causes, but more like
No,
in battle?
No, he can die in battle. He can die in
Yeah,
battle.
he can still technically die. He's just like he's got an extended life and everything.
Yeah.
It's just that
he's extremely hard to kill because of the properties of the heart.
So he's not impossible to kill. He's just like, like a vampire. They're long living and they're hardier, but they're not unkillable. So
He could also regenerate, which is something you guys never learned about him, but he could.
I did not know about that.
Regenerate limbs. Like if he lost a limb, it would have just grown back like a plant.
That's cool.
Can I please
I have a
see the
follow-up
true
question
form
though.
of Piper, please?
I have a
You will.
follow-up.
I really? Yes.
And for
I'm pretty sure when he turns you into a rat demon, he'll have to he'll do that.
I do have a
Fuck
follow-up
yes.
though. What would Rose have done if Ash found out that you were able to successfully kill her husband?
She has an entire spy and criminal organization under her belt.
Wow.
Like I said, it was there were plans among plans. It was basically it was going to be done in such a way where she didn't have to do it, but the arrangement of him dying was 100% her fault. If Ashton did find out that Rose orchestrated it and broke ties, she'd be heartbroken and devastated. Because at the time, she wouldn't have understood the reasoning why she didn't feel that way. I mean, Rose is she's fiercely loyal and she's not jealous. Jealousy isn't in her nature, but she does have a vindictive streak, which is the only thing she would understand. Is that Ashton was mad that Rose took something from her that she wanted, but would be upset that she didn't understand the reasoning behind why she did it.
Well, wouldn't the reason be if I can't have it, no one can?
No, because that's not the way. That's not the way. That's not the way Rose thinks. I mean, remember, she's an art thief. It's not a matter of it's basically, that's why Rose and Piper hit it off really well, is because they each knew, okay, you're into some shady shit, I'm into some shady shit. I really don't want to try and out shady you to get my shady shit done, and we have some overlap. How about we work together? So the whole black market that happened in Glimmercross was pretty much because Rose helped Piper put in a puppet for the government. So she was like, all right, you're having a hard time getting this guy to be a puppet for you. I'm having a hard time getting a black market set up. We could watch each other's back, and then shit'll get done. So in her mind, things like that didn't process because that was just the Darkling way. You know, you do what you need to do to get shit done. You know, the whole interjection of, you know, higher level emotions was never a part of her life. You know, for 100+ years, she was trained to be, you know, a femme fatale. You know, it's basically find where the goods are, get in, kill who you have to if you have to, and then get the fuck out. That was her life. I mean, the only reason why she changed at all is because she met the party. You know, and the thing is, you know, her mother and father that raised her, you know, they understand. I mean, they, because of their longevity, you know, they didn't have the baser instincts of most Darkling, because, you know, they're technically the evolved form because they're, you know, long lived. But, you know, Rose growing up was basically around a bunch of cutthroats and murderers and shit. That's all she knew. So that was her philosophy of life, you know. So if someone wanted to get the upper hand on her and she couldn't stop them, it's like, oh well, I fucked up. Next time I'll do better.
For the record, I don't think Ash would have gotten revenge on you, but she would never forgive you and probably not be friends with you anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, so again, another reason why that plan kind of died down, the other half outside of Tarashara, is the Ashton's reaction to Rose deciding to not stab her in the heart with the black arrow. You know, she was like, she knew what she felt for Ashton was love, but she didn't know how to process it correctly. So she's like, I want her, but I don't want to destroy her. So her affections for Ashton were more like a keepsake. It's like, it's something I want and I desire. It's a covet. She coveted Ash's affection, but she didn't want to destroy the source of what she coveted. So she was at a point where it's like, well, I mean, if I die, what's the worst thing that'll happen to me? I get reborn into the service, you know, of Sarstrasse. You know, maybe I'll get turned into like a low-level fae and I'll have to work my way up on the back end. Oh well, I'll risk it. Fuck it. You know, so she rolled the dice. She was like, I'd rather destroy this vessel and not harm what I want out of life than, you know, destroy it and then regret doing it. Because she couldn't reconcile having killed Ash and then having animosity towards Sarstrasse, because at that time Sarstrasse was basically, you know, her light. You know, she was like, that's you know, it was more than just she was more than just a patron. I mean, she worshipped Sarstrasse, you know, like a goddess. She was like, you know, I don't want to have animosity towards the person I revere most. The only thing I can do that cleans this slate is if I remove myself from the picture.
That was a fun moment. I like that moment. I have one for Rhojin. What would have happened if Ash got all 3 of those golden pieces?
I remember what the golden pieces were.
It was the armor, the shield, and the sword. What would have happened?
Who's to say she doesn't?
You, like, the armor set itself was the armor of a legendary warrior that would have pretty much allowed you to naturally surpass 20 strength. Like ASI, you would have been able to dump more points into it to go over it. It would have given you a beast form. You would have been pretty much like a 7.5 foot like human like lion. And you would have had command over a celestial lion.
So basically, Ash could have been riding into combat on a celestial lion.
Oh my god.
Can we allow her to have that for our one shots?
Holy fuck!
I think it would have been great
Oh my
if she
God.
went through all the trouble to collect it all, and then it was
nothing.
all just like ornamental pieces. It didn't actually do anything.
She would
I
have been
cut my
pissed, but at the same
fingers
time, she's
off
like, I got the
this.
fucking set, and that's all that matters.
Dude, that would suck to go through all that, and it was just some ornamental bullshit.
She can go back for the sword right now.
I mean, that's what Zale did with that ancient matriarch armor that she got. That thing didn't do squat.
That was just like ceremonial armor.
Yeah. Sometimes cool armor is just cool looking armor.
Yep. I also have a question for Mr. RhojinQuest.
Oh no. I didn't do it.
You actually did all of it.
I
Yeah,
probably
you did. You kind of did.
That 250-year-old history book that Zale got her hands on, written by Yith, the one that taught her the blood ritual that she partially carved into herself.
Mm-hmm.
I have my suspicions about its origin, but what's the deal? Where'd the book come from?
The book is
Why was it
actually
there?
the book was something that was dropped, to say, from the keeper's descent down onto like the mortal plane. It was sort of like a collection of his, and it sort of just got lost.
That's the suspicion that I had. Once we actually learned about the keeper and who he was, and about all those books and stuff, all those pieces with that one in particular just kind of fell into place. I thought that might have been the case. So there's, aside from the ones that we were given at the end of the campaign, there is another book, that book from the library, the collection out in the material plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, follow-up question about Zale and the Keeper. What's the deal with Zale's kids? You told me that there was something there,
Yeah.
but you didn't tell me what that was, what that shared essence was.
Her children are now, for all intents and purposes, considered demigods because of the time of their creation, the time of their birth. Yith was technically possessed by the keeper, so they've got pretty much god blood in them.
Shit, your
That's
kids are
gonna be-
Hercules.
That's going to be real unfortunate for whoever comes next for the matriarch seat after Zale's daughter.
Yeah, because it's
mean,
like not only do they have like god in them, it's draconic god, because the keeper is quite literally the first. That's why that's why
I
he
figured.
doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
It's because nobody was there to give him a name.
Dang.
Al,
Oh,
a little
goddamn.
worried for Yixis. I mean, I was always a little worried for Yixis, but now I'm a little bit more.
just wait until they grow up. It will
Oh,
definitely it will definitely be a thing to where they like physically, like visually, you can definitely see that they are not just completely, there's something else about them.
I am like super
Damn.
excited for Rose babysitting those kids now.
Dude, Yixis is getting hooked up.
Like I am.
Yeah.
Like I am expecting all sorts of demigod shenanigans when Auntie Rose comes to babysit.
Yeah.
I have a question for all of the party members. Who did you find you got unexpectedly, as in you didn't think you would, but maybe you did, unexpectedly close to? For me, as Caldross, it was Keo.
For me, it was Gillitam for Tarshar, because that was 100% unplanned between the two of us. And the way Rose mind works, she has a terrible infatuation complex. So the fact that that Tarashara knew stuff about her that no one else knew, and had some sort of interest in her, intrigued her to the point where their relationship blossomed the way it did.
For Zale, Zale, I mean, she cared deeply about everyone in the group, but there was a certain camaraderie that ended up developing between her and Ash, because they were like the parents of the group at the end of it there.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
there was
Yeah.
just a certain bond that came from that. And for Kyo, same as Kaldros, it was Kaldros. They shared several moments, especially near the end, that really helped her start to feel comfortable around him specifically. And Tickles was starting to get there with Kyo as well.
Yeah.
The tail touching, it started to wear her down.
Oh god. Yeah, I think it was about the same for Ash. Ash cared a lot about everyone. She felt close to everyone, but yeah, I think it was Zale that she and probably for the same reason they just kind of like became the parents of the group. But Zale was like the one person where if she needed to be grounded, yes, everyone would slap some sense into her, but for some reason Zale was always the one where she told her the things that she needed to hear, whether she knew it or not. And it was just, there was a lot of different times where Ash was in a bad place and Zale would say something that was like, that snapped her out of it. And so it was just, I think out of everyone, as much as she loved everyone, I think Zale and her were pretty close for the group.
I don't think I've ever seen Tickles go fucking psychotic.
Yet. She's not a demon yet.
Yes, go on.
What is the process for that, Rhojin? How, when she does eventually become a demon, how is that gonna go about? Is it gonna wait until like her life is completely full and she dies, or what?
There's a ritual.
Yeah.
That's it? That's all you're gonna tell us?
There's a ritual.
Okay.
Wait, are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do a ritual episode? Okay, let's go.
It's after we free your family.
It's quite honestly just a ritual that, you know, expanses over a couple days, and then your soul gets destroyed and you become a demon.
Are there any physical changes?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
She's gonna have to learn how to control or how to manipulate her form like Piper does.
Oh shit.
Oh, snap.
Because when this ritual happens, your demonic form is technically random. It's just chaos that happens, and then you look the way you look.
Cool.
So then you can look like a sexy rat folk still, but you just have to manipulate it.
I mean, yeah, it's like she can manipulate it to look like normal Tickles, and when her true form is, 80 feet of nothing but writhing tentacles.
Oh, jeez.
You know, I approve of this.
Demons aren't really pretty, so, it's to be expected.
They really aren't.
Watch
So-
it be like
Kind
the
of gross.
greatest form ever. It's so pretty, and you're like, what the fuck?
That would be devils.
That would be devils.
I was
That
gonna
would
say
be devils.
succubus. What? I just want to put it on record. I know we talked about it before in the past, but I just want to put it on record. Who would win, Piper or Ash's daddy?
Piper would wipe the floor with.
You said
Xavier.
Ash's dad would be better.
Mm-mm.
What?
Like if Piper was allowed to go full form, like unhinged power,
That's
He would
not what he
wipe the-
told me last time, folks.
he would
That's
wipe
not what
the
he said.
floor he would wipe the floor with Xavier.
It's not what he told me months ago. He's a liar.
Now I have to ask
Now
you,
you
Zoro.
have to ask yourself: am I telling the truth now, or was I telling the truth earlier?
I don't know. I don't believe anything you say.
I have to ask you, who's your daddy?
I don't know. I don't remember who said it, but it was in like one of the last few episodes when someone was talking about like, I want to talk to Ash's daddy or something like that. And it was, I don't know what the situation was. All I know it was just like super awkward because I was like, oh my god, someone's trying to hit on my daddy. Can't even remember it now, but it was a funny moment.
Like, I am not looking for a new mom. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hey, her dad's pretty hot.
I know, but that's
Her
what I'm saying.
brother's
I can see like that being Ash's response. It's like, I'm not looking for a new mom. Like, you know, cut your shit out.
Actually, it was actually funny because I remember, was it Zale? No, it might have been Tickles actually. Where very, very long ago, unfortunately, it's an episode that's not up on YouTube. It was before that, where we were talking about our past, and we were like, "Hey, what's up with your parents? We know about your dad, but where's your mom?" Like, "Oh, my mom's dead." And everyone's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Nah, she lived a full life. She died old, half vampire, human. It's fine." It was just a funny moment because everyone was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. What happened to your mother?" Old age.
Because you expect that if you're
You expect to hear something tragic.
You may see people from Ash's family in campaign 3.
Oh.
That's true. Yeah.
Because this is 60 years in the future. So the boys are growing up. Lias is still around. Xavier's still around. She's still around.
Hell, Rose is still around.
Rose is still around.
Well, and we purposefully said, and I don't know if Rhojin, you want to do this here or later, but we were gonna have kind of an epilogue thing later. And one of the things, I won't go into detail about it, but one of the things that I was gonna let Rhojin know is that Ash was going to encourage her brother and her to go on a trip to the Vampire Isles. Who knows how far in the future that would have even been, but I mean, there's a chance maybe since that's kind of in that region. Oh, yeah, that reminds me.
The Vampire Isles are quite literally maybe separated by 5 miles of sea from Odag.
Oh, dang. Yeah, because I remember you said it was kind of up in that area. Which reminds me, where the fuck is the island that we won?
Oh, that is down down a bit farther south.
Yeah, I think that was
So off
pointed
the
out
map.
on the map at the
Wasn't there
time.
Was it
another
off
place
the
like
map?
someone won another keep or some shit?
Somebody got to keep somewhere.
I know.
Zale
Caldros.
has, yeah,
Caldros got a
Caldros
keep.
has a keep.
That's right.
They got an island.
Well, we haven't used it yet. It's not a keep. It's a free stake your claim.
It's a free fortress.
Well, there may be monsters in there. We just got to clear it out.
No,
We still have to
it's
clear out
not
that
from-
dungeon
it's
that
not
Ash
from
got,
the
too.
deck. It's not
Oh.
from the deck.
Okay.
But yeah, the island you have is like still within the southern area, so it's not up north over by Odag or anything like that.
That's
Okay.
nice.
So follow up, is it an actual like nice island, or do we just
yeah.
need to clear it the fuck out of all this?
Oh no,
creep?
it is a perfectly inhabitable
Good.
island.
Good. Summer home, new summer home that no one will burn it down.
You know what's weird is technically I own like
Chal-
3 things.
Challenge accepted.
Keo, you're not allowed on my
Rhojin.
island.
Rhojin,
You can't stop me.
I'll DM you the details later, but wherever that island is that Ash owns, that's where we're gonna do the stake the claim.
Motherfucker. This is private
Also,
property.
I would like to create that ancient fortress that I have on that island.
Private property.
I want to
folks.
know about that. Like, would it be fucking huge if we like she put that fortress or whatever, like the cube?
Oh,
Power cube.
So the cube itself, if she would have dropped it into the volcano,
Oh, she will.
it is a mobile fortress.
Yep.
Nice.
Ancient
Like-
dwarven.
It is an ancient dwarven mobile fortress. You pull some levers and everything, that shit sprouts legs and starts walking.
Nice.
It's a mobile fortress. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
the original plan was to teleport the fuck out of the Underdark to the volcano that Keo created, drop the power cube in it, and then that's where we staged that fight.
Right.
But obviously it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
It's okay. I've got plans for that crystal volcano written in Keo's epilogue.
Good. Rhojin, do you have any questions for us? I know that's like a weird thing to say, but do you have any questions for us?
I don't, because It's
He
kind of
knows
having hard
everything.
questions when you know what happened.
I have another question for Ash.
Okay.
Hag tomes.
Oh God.
Statement.
She knows exactly how dangerous they are. She's seen firsthand how they can twist people. Does she plan on keeping them, or is her intent to destroy them?
Technically, she can never access them again because that red hag gave her this chest where once I put all the tomes in it, it's basically sealed forever. I cannot open them again.
Oh, that's right. I gave that bitch my coin.
Yeah, so so Ash put the tomes in there, sealed it up, and then told Gaston to put it back in the mimic part of the library where it can't be so easily accessed.
But what happens if the chest is destroyed?
She wouldn't open them again. She'd probably find a way to get rid of them, especially with all the crazy drama that happened to her and the scare that she might have been a hag, because she just hated that. So she's like, nope, get the fuck out of here.
That's
Yeah,
right,
she learned her lesson.
motherfucker.
She learned her lesson. She's like, nope, done with this shit.
It only took a couple years, but she got there.
She did. That's called growth.
It is.
It's called growth.
That's called being specifically one book away from being turned into a hag.
So how many books did you need for her to be actually turned into a
I had
hag?
a lot.
Yeah, you had
I had a list
3
somewhere.
or 4.
We had a
I
lot
had more.
though.
I had a sea hag. I had a couple of like the night hags. I had the giant hags, the half giant one.
The anus. Oh, not the anus. The
The
anus.
anus.
The
Hag.
anus
The anus
hag.
hag.
The anus hag.
I
What a
mean,
nice anus you got there.
she was kind of an asshole.
Look,
So
Yeah,
the,
she
the
was.
name is spelt weird, so it's like you
Yeah.
have to read it and then enunciate it like slowly, or it becomes anus hag.
It's
Yeah, I
the
have
anus
that,
unis.
I have that, and I have another one. I can't remember what. I have a list. I have an actual list.
you have the Ice Hag's tome, the one that we murdered on the boat.
Yep.
Oh God.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep. The one that I shot the fuck out of with
Yeah.
my cannon.
Yeah. So I had at least 5 or 6. At least 5. Yeah, I had a collection. Ash, I don't know if you guys noticed, Ash likes sets. That's why she was obsessed that she's found out there's 3 pieces to this golden armor set. Yeah, I want to collect them all. She's a Pokemon master and she's got to catch them all. So
I still got my Pokeball.
yeah, she has hers with Sahara. I know I did take up what was it called? Mountain Combatant. So it'll be more fun to use her in battles, but the shit got so crazy that I was like, yeah, I'm not bringing her on all this shit. So
Yeah, I was also
Yeah.
too scared to use Luna in combat because I was just like the shit that we're fighting is gonna like knock me the fuck out,
yeah,
and I'm just like, you're not gonna kill my baby.
yeah.
It-
Plus,
you are a novelty pet. That's it.
yeah. And
that's
for those
what it
of you
was. I
who
was
don't
like,
know, Griffins, like even as a kid, Griffins always held like a special place in my heart. So when we found out that we had a Griffin, I was like, yeah, I ain't fucking losing that shit. So when she died that first time, I was like, fuck this shit. You killed my Griffin.
Yeah, but I mean, on the bright side, you didn't know.
No, I didn't know.
She knew.
I
She
knew
was the
'cause I
only
witnessed her
one who
death.
knew. because-
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I was
it was the other way around.
literally on her when it happened.
And then
Ash
everyone
still
else
has
just
one
thought
wish.
you were crazy.
Ash still
Ash
has
does
one wish,
still have one wish.
and we ain't done yet.
Oh.
Yeah, I still have a wish.
Yep, she does.
What the hell are you
then-
gonna use that for?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. There were 2 things I was gonna set
Two
up for
private
to
items.
use. One was I had to think long and hard about it. I almost thought about restoring Glimmercross if it didn't happen because she felt guilty and responsible for it. But at the same time, I wanted to hold on to it because if we destroyed Sharastrasa Bitchface and the Bramble Heart was gone from, or the Briar's Heart on Turok, she would have wished for him to have a life like hers.
Mhm.
So that was actually the number 1 wish that she was going to wish for if that was the case. And then her backup was like maybe Glimmercross because I felt responsible. Oh, it's restored? Okay, cool. So So yeah, so those were really my only two things for that wish, and it all kind of worked out for her. So now I'm just hanging on to it for a rainy day.
If Rose got a wish, I know exactly what I wish for.
Fruit
Turok to
salad. Yummy, yummy. Oh.
Actually, no. Surprisingly enough, no, not for Turok to die.
Oh, okay. What would Rose wish for?
You technically can't wish people dead.
Yeah. Oh well, the thing is,
She
it's
would
like,
just die.
and the thing is, like, if you know anything about Rose, she, like, to wish someone that she wants dead and not actually do the task herself or
Is
arrange for
lazy.
it to happen is lazy. That's the pussy way out.
No.
Do your own work, damn it.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
pussy way out. Rose would never do that. She was like, she would totally arrange for that person to die so her hands stay clean.
Wait.
But to just go, oh, I wish they were dead. Yeah, no, that's just like, there's no fun in it. It is totally not a fair
Wait.
way to take someone out.
Didn't we use a wish to like kill someone in season 1, which fucking damn near killed all of us?
Technically, no. That was the horrible kill everything in 100-mile radius thing that Cassius did.
Yeah.
When he wished for that, he wished for the power to be able to kill strong creatures, essentially.
Yeah.
And that gave him that enormous cone that shot out from him of damage and killed everyone except for him.
Nuked every fucking thing.
Well,
Instant regret on that one.
well, Ichirai survived, so
Backtracking
Barely.
just a
You
little
all
bit.
technically survived.
I mean, that's
Eventually.
true. Kind of, loosely. Just to back up just a little bit, I didn't get an explanation. She might be asleep by now, but I asked Gilatam who she felt the closest to in the campaign, and she said Tickles.
aw, thank you.
Fellow
Why?
princesses.
Fellow princesses, probably.
And wait, did Groudon, did you provide an answer to that one?
Or
Oh, that's right. Who did you feel closest to?
Yeah.
as much.
I think
Oh,
I
you know,
know.
that's really tough. To be honest, I think she was really starting to get really, really attached to Kyo. And like, I don't know what it was that she was like so like attracted to, and it wasn't the tail. Like, so don't even go with that.
The
I
tail
think-
was just a means to an end. I get it.
No,
Especially
she has a
extra
weird
fluffy.
tail fetish. Don't ask her. So the thing that she liked about Kyo was the fact that she was a woman of power. Now,
Literally.
and of course, like, you know, everyone else has power. It's just that she had something that was inside her that was ready to burst, and she wanted it to like set off. She wanted that internal chaos to explode from Kyo, and she loved it. Like every time, like Kyo whipped out like a firestorm of some kind, she's like, ah, like inside her. She's like, yes, burn, burn. And she just loved that. And, you know, yeah, anyone can like do something. It's just the way that Kyo did it was very majestic and very beautiful that she's like, if I wasn't married, I'd fuck her.
Now I'm sad that Tickles didn't get to see what Kyo had planned for that filthy paladin because he calm emotioned her before she could do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
We ended up killing him anyway, so I mean.
Yes, and
Satisfaction.
eating him.
Oh yeah.
No, I missed it. Okay.
This is yeah. That's gross.
But like,
This
but yeah,
is-
I like if it wasn't Kyo and, you know, and Zale was still with us, it would probably be Ash.
Yeah.
It would more than likely be Ash because Ash is like, hi, how are you? I'm like, I don't know you, but I like you. I know the
don't know
shit
this
you do.
bitch, but she's all right.
She's all right, I guess. Don't worry about it. That's right.
I do wish, on the note of the relationships between the characters, I do wish that we had just a little bit more time to really get to know Callistra.
Hmm.
Oh, that
I
would
feel
have been
like
nice.
there was a lot
felt
there
bad.
that we just didn't
Yeah.
have the time to explore.
Yeah. It was.
We were just so late in the game that there was not much we could have done.
Well, even if we wanted to, we had so much shit that was very time sensitive that it was just like we have to kind of like get it done and get all that stuff situated.
Yeah,
So
she
I felt
came
bad.
in. She came in the middle of the end game for
Mhm.
so many things coming together that
Yeah.
we just didn't have time to unpack that.
Well, and I remember asking Raven about that before this. I said, "Hey, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, you're not gonna be able to make it." He's like, "Kalisha's kind of boring. She just was a guard. That was pretty much it." I was just like, "Oh, well, I mean, I'm sure there's more than that."
That's
But
okay,
yeah.
because post-campaign, Kyo gets to make Callistra's life very interesting because they have a daughter together that they need to get to know.
So
That's a whole other
I
thing
got a
that he's
question
unpacked.
for all of you.
Okay.
All right. So
We'll have this be our last question before we take a short break.
okay. So my question for all of you, and this could be for your own character as well, or any other characters that you have. Who did you guys think played their character either well, had a great time, like fun with it, or just something out of the ordinary you'd never thought someone would do?
That's hard. I feel like everyone played really true to their characters, whether it was their flaws, their ambitions, or just them as their character on what they would actually do in those situations, regardless of what others felt. Everyone played like, this is how my character is, deal with it, and it was awesome. So
I
to say one, I don't know.
kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, it's honestly, if I had to choose, I would have to say probably Tickles, because Tickles was so chaotic, but she would surprise us with things here and there that were either heart to heart or something just surprising, but it was just, you were just so chaotic in a way that you stuck to your guns no matter what. But I mean, again, a lot of people did that, but it was really fun to watch, in all honesty.
Like,
Yeah, there was a moment with Tickles specifically that really, really caught me off guard and surprised me at the time, but also really felt very true to her character. And that was when she approached Zale and asked Zale to track down her brother and parents.
Mm-hmm.
That moment, that insight into Tickle's backstory and the emotions going on below the chaos was a big surprise coming from Tickles, but still felt true to the character.
Mm-hmm.
she was always very like, didn't want to throw out her problems unless she really needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And she had so much turmoil and past bullshit that she's like, I don't care about my past, but if it comes to haunt me, I will take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very caring for, everyone else's past.
Mm-hmm.
But like, for a person that I thought was like that played it very well, is actually going to go right back to you, HBFox. I love the way how you played with Zale and Kyo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't have much experience when it comes to like D&D, because I'm still new, even though I've been playing with you guys for a while. But it's like you have the mindset of what you're going to do, how you're going to execute it, and you do it in a very a surprised way. I was like, oh, okay. I never would have thought about that. Out of all the games that I've played with you, you have done the most to exceed your expectations as well as your execution for things.
Why, thank you. I appreciate that. It's always encouraging to hear.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that none of you others haven't. Like, you guys have done very well of executing with your own characters. Ash was able to execute what she wanted to do with the hag tomes, as well as when she suicided a whole entire dragon line. Not knowing.
Not that she knew that was gonna happen.
She didn't know.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Well,
Of course
yeah.
she did. Azharen played Rose like just perfectly, just like this. How do I say this word without sounding like an asshole?
Mega bitch.
Scheming, conniving bitch.
Thank you.
And you did it so
I know, she's
great.
like, thanks, I know.
It was like when you play a video game and when the company or the Square Enix, when they play a character that you fucking hate but you love at the same time, that's what you did. You did amazing with that character. Like, I loved and hated Rose. You played her so well that it was the same thing when Tiny played his character.
Now you play Eric, yeah.
Like, I thought he hated me, but he did it. He just played his character so fucking well. And with Kaldros, just staying true as a paladin, and then all of his shit was fucked up, and Shadow, you've come up with so many great things that you wanted to do with your character that I can't even think of. Like, absolutely, I just can't think of things. Like, I always think that I just be like, okay, this is what I want. Okay, I can't do that, but I will try and do something else to get there. And be like,
Go ahead.
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one of the standout moments I thought for Kaldros was right after the vault was destroyed, when he, for the first time that I could think of, showed that genuine elation to the result. Granted, that was before we saw all the real nasty shit crawl out of there, but when it still seemed like a good thing, and he showed that genuine elation, that was a moment for that character, from my perspective, that really showed a lot of depth, because he had been stoic with most things. He had kept a lot of it close to his chest, and then that just broke through. I thought it was a great moment for that character.
That's like one of the best parts that I love what ShadowFox did as a paladin, because with most people paladins, they play, as we always joke, lawful stupid. You just are hardcore, by the law, by the book, blah blah blah. But ShadowFox did it to where he stayed true to being a paladin in his views, but he did it in such a way that made sense to everyone else, and they weren't stupid choices, or they weren't like by the book choices. They were just like, I am not, someone that just follows blindly. It's like, I'm part of this for a reason, and if that's going to skew, I'm going to question it and do something about it, but still staying true to all of his beliefs and what his order's all about. And I thought that was fantastic, because again, people just play paladins as, I'm a police officer and this is how it goes. So
he
it was
played
great.
logical common sense of a character.
Yeah.
It was like, I have beliefs that there is justice, but if my if my foundation is doing like shady shit, I'm gonna go against it.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, for all that. That was more than I really could hope for. But for Kaldros, it was always I have a higher goal than getting caught up on petty bullshit. It like, I'm here to take down liches. There's a ghoul running around doing good things for people. Who the fuck cares? Yeah. It was.
Why do I feel like
this
I'm
is the
targeted?
goal. Anyways, it was stuff like that, and then Ash was part undead. She was born that way. She didn't have a fucking choice. It's not his place. It was the people that would try to become undead or become liches like his stepfather was trying to, or not stepfather, his adopted father was trying to do. You know, that was the wrong, you know, like trying to suck up that power for yourself. You know, so it was more that, like, he had his eyes way higher than the petty everyday bullshit, you know.
Like what the paladin did in the first few episodes, where we were there to help find a little girl, and I was just like, oh yeah, no, I'm just half vampire, whatever, I'm here to help you, and he's just like, kill her, and I was like, oh,
Unclean.
fucking bitch.
Is that the
We're here
paladin
to
we killed?
The one
Yeah.
that you threw
Yeah.
in the well.
Yeah.
Yep.
We
That's
tried
the
to throw in the
one.
well.
It's
Yeah.
that perfect example of what most paladins are, that I'm so glad Caldros wasn't, because again, it was like petty. It's like, we're here to help. We're here to find this poor lost little girl. Oh, but you're demon spawn, killing you. It's like,
I
And
never-
then he
Right.
fell on his own sword several times.
And
I
let's
stabbed
just
never-
be
himself
honest.
9 times.
Let's
I
be honest with this
never-
group. If I had played it lawful stupid, I would have been rolling a new character in 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally
yeah.
true. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
being kind.
Yeah.
You would have rolled it the same episode.
Yeah.
Good.
But that's, and no
Probably.
offense to any of the other players at all, but I honestly, what I love so much about the Tuesday group is that we have, first of all, great chemistry with each other, but the way we play our characters, we have so much depth that with our characters, and we stick true to them the whole time. And I just
Stick to our guns.
yeah, and I just love that about all of us, because we all do it, and it's just makes it so immersive and fascinating as characters, and I want to get to know them more. But I
And I'm
love it.
sure we will.
Yeah. But what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna go ahead and take a short break so we can get up, refresh our drinks, walk around, have some more questions for each other. The goal is to go another couple of hours if we have that time, as far as like if we have enough questions and everything. But either way, just wanted to squeeze in a quick break for us and for you to kind of walk around, think of more questions, go to the bathroom, all that good stuff. So we will be right back in just a few minutes, guys.
into Zoom, and so then it would use
And we are
those
back.
settings, but I don't really want to do
I
that.
got pudding.
You got pudding.
Ooh,
What kind of
I got
pudding?
pudding.
Did you bring enough
jealous.
for the whole class?
Yeah, seriously.
Nope. I'm a DM. I don't got to do that.
Whoa,
Yeah.
right now you're not.
What an asshole.
I will
I hope
tell
you choke on it, sir.
I will tell you right now that bring enough for the whole class is bullshit because I was that kid and I did that shit once and I got detention.
What? For bringing enough for the whole class? Or
Yeah, I
saying
could-
it?
No, I because on my on my way to when I was going from elementary school to junior high school, so basically when I had junior high school, you know, I was like, you know, I have a little candy or something, and I had a teacher who's like, you know, it's like if you're gonna bring candy to school, you gotta bring enough for everybody. On the walk from where I lived,
Whoa.
there was a candy store down to my junior high school. And so one day I literally saved up my money and I bought enough candy to give the entire class some candy, including the fucking teacher. And the bitch still gave me detention for being like, you know, insubordinate or
smart ass,
some
a
bullshit.
A smart ass, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you were. That's what it was.
You were just listening to your teacher. What a
Oh
bitch.
yeah, dude. Yeah, you know, like, you know,
bitch.
like, you know, junior crush was just basically, you know, just like, yeah, nah. It's like, oh, okay, that's the rules. All right, awesome. I bet I can live with that. You've defined a set of parameters. I will adhere to them.
Yeah, what she couldn't think that maybe you had actually taken her literally and not seen her sarcasm.
Yeah, seriously. What a bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're back.
Hi, welcome. Welcome to our wonderful adventure of talking and other nonsensical means. And I mean really nonsensical means. Like you're like talking.
Very
have-
good
I-
Groudon.
I do have a
Yay.
question for Calderos though.
Ooh.
Was there ever a point where Calderos thought he would have to actually take Rose out because she knew that things she did pushed some of his buttons, but she literally didn't give two shits?
Those actually not so much. Like that after a couple times of really questioning what Rose's intentions were, he basically put, this is a very huge generalization, so I'm sorry about this, but just to make the answer simple, was he categorized most of Rose's actions as selfish but well-intentioned. So like he after a certain point he wouldn't expect Rose to do something like when she took the two remaining Lich artifacts, right? Calderos could have had a huge flip out at that, you know, but he's like, well, she's not going to use them on herself to make herself a Lich. Worst case scenario, she's probably going to try to sell them, you know?
Yeah.
Like maybe, but he didn't think like that was the worst case scenario. He didn't actually think you were, but you know, and then you came back and kind of explained yourself, and ended up being, they ended up in the right place. So, you know, no skin off his knee. The only one that I thought I might have to actually tangle with was Tickles, and it wasn't because of Tickles, it was because of Sven.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a huge trigger for Calderos. Not to mention for some of us too when we found out what
I
Sven's
love
appetite
Sven.
was.
I love him so much. He's great.
Sven was perfectly fine until he got that taste of human blood, and then he just wanted to eat live people. That was not okay for Calderos.
I would have let him.
Or Ash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you would have let him, and
Yeah.
that's why I thought Calderos might have to actually take
Kill
on
me?
Tickles.
You
Was
make, it sound
because
like, you make it sound like he never ate somebody during the campaign.
Not that
Yeah.
we knew about.
Yeah.
You're right, but we didn't know about
If
it
you
until that
didn't
moment.
know about it, then you can't react to it.
Out of sight, out of mind. That's all it was. And yet you're like, this is a problem. This is a problem. Tickles is a problem.
I think it was more of Tickles was okay with it. That was the problem.
No,
yeah,
no.
it was that
It
Tickles
was
was
that-
okay with it, and he was rampaging through a town at the time.
Yeah,
It was,
that's true.
it was fine. He's just
it
hungry.
wasn't.
Let him eat.
Caldros had no problem with Sven going and eating.
We were going to get kicked
had-
out anyway.
He had problems. He had problems with Sven hunting sentient beings, and he had problems with Tickles for saying, "Yeah, go," when she knew full well what he was hunting.
Yeah, it was the whole
And-
killing innocence thing.
Look, Tickles.
She's not that innocent.
If I'm not allowed to eat people, then your symbiote isn't allowed to eat people.
Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey. I can't control other people. Okay? I can't control what you eat. You can eat whatever the fuck you want.
Well, no. Ash would have to be like, meh, 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 meh. I went
He
over
was a
this with Zale.
vampire under your control. Okay? Zale had
Only
no
briefly.
choice.
I was a good sire. I went out and got something for my new fledgling, okay?
You told Zale to sit, and she sat. That was bullshit.
That was kind of fun.
That was
fun.
funny.
That was fun.
That was funny.
And I remember specifically doing that to make a point.
It was great. It was
And
great.
You yoshed her.
Yeah, sit, boy. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
I have a question for Rhojin, and this is for Tickles. Would have there been at one point where the group would have had to fight Piper if Tickles did not decide to like be infatuated with him?
No,
No.
Piper liked the
Oh, at
group.
the very beginning?
Piper liked the group and liked the trouble you were getting into. Tickles was just an added bonus.
Ah, okay.
Was it love at first sight for him?
Yeah, it was.
It was? Okay.
Yeah.
Really? After
Aw.
seeing like every single rattling or something, it was like not infatuated with them. But as soon as he saw her, he was like, I must have this woman.
There's something about that one.
There's something about that one. I want that one.
Oh, they zinged.
They zinged.
Aw.
They zinged.
You were his zing.
Oh God. I won't lie that I've had wonderful fun with Piper, and I love
I
that
like
character.
Piper.
And I'm not just saying that. I'm just saying, like in general, I think Piper is 100% a fun character.
Oh, I dig Piper too. Piper's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, he's like, Rose's business partner. So,
Another
Piper was
character,
fun. I liked Piper.
another character that I highly fucking enjoyed every single time was your old man Lich. I loved him. I loved
Barnaby.
everything.
Barnaby.
Yeah.
Barnaby? What happened to Barnaby?
He
Did
died.
he
He died.
die?
You guys-
Died.
We
He did
killed
die?
him.
We ended up
killed
killing
him.
him. Yeah.
We had
Oh,
to
yeah.
kill his orb. We had pondered upon his orb, and we had to kill it.
That's right.
Don't
we
you
did.
start that
We
shit.
did.
Don't you dare.
My brain went to when he was gone in the castle. I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 Yeah, we went through that gate
right.
that opened up, and
Yeah.
then he was there, and
It's all coming
Yeah,
back.
because his gate was fueling the spell. I mean,
Yes.
his phylactery was fueling the spell, so we had to destroy it.
he was
to,
fine.
All
He
right.
was fine.
I have to. I never told anyone that. At least I don't remember telling anyone this. But after the whole woods hag thing, hearing more about Barnaby's past, Caldros was planning at some point taking him out, anyways, or at least trying to.
Oh my.
I can tell you, Caldros would have failed epically.
That old man, he had shit.
That doesn't change a damn
Yeah.
thing.
Barnaby may have been senile, but he was still a powerhouse.
Still a fucking horrible ass high level lich.
And
Senile.
No. He was a retired lich.
mhm.
He's like, I don't want to deal with this
He
shit.
lived long enough to where he retired from, the
Lichdom.
pestering adventurers in lichdom because he just did it forever.
He got bored.
He got bored, exactly.
I
This
felt
would've-
really bad for him when he died. I was like, even though
I
you know,
kinda
I'm
did
sure he's
too.
killed millions of people, and you know, and stuff like that. In a sense, whatever. But it's like, but we had a connection with him. It was great.
I feel bad.
Yeah.
Rose dug Barnaby. Barnaby was cool. You know,
This was before the order, the dirty secrets of the order had
Yeah.
been revealed, but Galros would have literally taken the whole order after him. If that had failed, that would have failed, but he would have.
Hey man, liches before hoes.
All of a
Liches
sudden,
before hoes.
like
Just beast it.
all of a sudden, they're just like rained upon by skeletons being launched out of that people pole.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
Probably.
the funny thing is I honestly think that if that happened, like, you know, Ash's dad would have just like stepped out onto like the balcony and just said, "Stand
No.
down, brothers. This
Yeah.
isn't happening."
No. Bad voice.
and then they all just would have just been like, they all just would have just went at ease and just started walking back, and Cal would have been like, "The fuck?" It's just like,
I don't think anybody in the order knew who Xavier was currently.
Yeah, because he was part of the order years
Yeah.
ago, before Ash and her brother, so at least 400 years.
He still has the colors, though.
Yeah.
He has the colors of a high-ranking officer, so just because you don't know him doesn't mean he doesn't have order.
Yeah, that's true. And then Rosa actually has a question for you, HBFox. At what point, if at all, did your attention shift from... Oh, sorry, for Kyo. It's about Kyo, I'm sorry. At one point at all, did her attention shift from Zale to outward? Like when she would have went through with her visions to challenge the matriarch, still even after what she's done with the group?
So that's kind of part of what I touched on. I think Rosa wasn't here
Right.
when I mentioned it before. Kyo has a great amount of animosity towards Zale and would absolutely take the opportunity to sucker punch her if it came up. But she has no desire to ever challenge Zale for the position of matriarch. Not because she thinks Zale is fit for the role, but because she just doesn't care enough to take that role for herself. And the build-up that she had been working towards with the artifact destroyer and everything is to dismantle everything that her mother built, as opposed to what Zale's doing or the previous matriarchs have built, as a point of... I used the word revenge earlier, but that word doesn't really suit her desires. It's just
It's kind of
restoring
justice.
balance. Let's
Tied
say.
up loose ends.
There was an imbalance that was created in Kyo's life when her mother essentially forced her into the ritual that created her, and Kyo wants to set that right, and she feels the way to do that is to break down her mother's life's work.
Yeah,
So
if you go back to when we talked about this earlier, long story short, she made us think that it was for Zale, but
Yes.
realistically it was not for Zale this whole time.
And initially the catalyst for it was her anger at Zale for Zale making her go out and do all this stuff with all these strangers. So I think that's perhaps why nobody really thought to insight, because it made sense that
Yeah.
she would be angry. But that wasn't the ultimate goal of that animosity.
I mean, you fooled us. I mean, I thought this whole time as a player, I was like, oh yeah, I can see why she'd want to destroy Zale. Even though she hasn't flat out told that Ash doesn't know, so she can't question it, but
Yeah, I mean,
you tricked me as a player.
It tricked Zale as well, because I did a little behind-the-scenes roll-off between the two of them. And there was a point in the campaign where Zale had mentioned in conversation to Rose that Kyo was likely to ask for the group's help at some point with some big secret thing. And Zale's like, yeah, just humor her, say yeah, type of thing. Because Zale thought that Kyo's intention as well was to make a move on Zale.
Well, you as Keo had also at some point, and maybe this was part of your misdirection or something like that, but you had hinted that Keo didn't like somebody who was in power, who was pulling gnolls away from the old ways.
Yes.
When you felt they should still be sticking to the old ways.
It's the way that Fox worded it made us believe that it was Zale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which
it
is the
made sense.
greatest thing that I loved about Fox doing with his characters is like the way he just molds it in a way you think what it is, but it's not. It's a twist, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hard line to walk sometimes with Keo specifically because she had such high wisdom. She had the understanding to create these plans and to enact them over a long period of time, but she also had a really low intelligence. So trying to find that balance for a character, a scheming character, where the plans make sense and they're not too dumb to fail at it, but also having that low intelligence to maybe not necessarily make them as tricky or in-depth or as conniving as they might otherwise be. I found I had a lot of trouble with Keo doing that, but I think it worked out.
Mm-hmm. I actually have another question for Keo. What, now that all this crazy is done, what does her future look like, especially with Rex?
Who wants Knoll pups?
That is so.
Funny, they'd be called pups
Initially-
either way.
Yeah.
Initially, the thing with Rex was supposed to be a one-night stand.
Oh, look how that turned out.
Yeah, look how that turned out. And I have no immediate plans for them to go beyond what they already have. I think I'm just gonna let that be whatever it ends up being on its own. But as far as her immediate future goes, she has, I think, some self-discovery to do. She needs to overcome her feelings towards herself before she can really find a future.
Mm-hmm.
And she, unbeknownst to her, she has plenty of time to do that now that she has timeless body.
Yep. Yep.
So that'll be a thing.
You're timeless.
One thing that's in her immediate future, and I actually had intended on doing during the campaign and started working on it with the diamonds that she had Rex buy for her. She is going to be bringing a creature back through true resurrection with those diamonds, and it is the Hydra that she herself birthed.
Hail Hydra!
Yeah, that was crazy.
Because it was an actual living creature with a soul and a body. Its life was just really, really short.
Oh.
And that brief connection that she had with it, especially after that battle, made her feel things that she didn't think she could feel and probably never wanted to feel. But it was like borderline motherly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a creature that like I say, she birthed. It grew in her, from her, and
That's not how
it
birthing
existed
works.
because of her. Well, I've seen how it works with hyenas, and it's no better. And that's high on her to-do list, is bring that Hydra back and give it the life that she feels it deserved.
Get up on the Hydra's back.
Yeah. Purple Pandemonium, thank you so much for that follow. I have a question for everyone. This,
Oh, no.
This might be hard because I was trying to think about it myself, and I was like, I don't know how to fucking answer this question. But what was everyone's favorite moment in the entire campaign? It could be something your character did. It could be something someone else did. A little bit of column A, column B. 'Cause we heard Rhojin.
That's hard.
It is. It
It's
really
not
is.
moments, but it's moments. And it's more the lines of your guys' faces every time I flip that damn coin.
Fear in our eyes every time.
Can I
Every time.
Can I go one of my favorite moments? I don't think I have a definitive top favorite moment, but there are
Right.
lots of things that have happened that I really enjoy, and one of them was, you know, the fact that you know, when Rose got plane shifted
That was a terrifying
into-
moment.
into Avernus, like I legit thought like I'm fucked. I know Planescape like really well, and I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. All right, oh, I guess I'm a fucking lemur. it's like, oh well. I was like making out my backstory. I'm like, new characters, like, who this? And then, you know, Rhojin, you know, was like, he let me basically like, you can survive, and I'm just like, oh really? I was like, all right, I'll make us some shit, see if it works. And he basically let me like, you know, figure out a way to survive in Avernus, and that led to a whole other plot line, and that was amazing. Like, you know, I honestly, most DMs I've played with in the past would have just been like, oh, your monkey ass got plane shifted to Avernus and you didn't take precautions, you're fucked, you know, you're dead, you know. Because literally, like, if you read what happens to people who go into the hells, if you go to the wrong hell unprepared, you're fucked. Avernus in particularly, because that plane of hell is the battleground, is the literal battleground for the Blood War.
It's the front line.
Yeah, it is like, it's like that. That is like where the bodies smash into each other, like in Braveheart. That's where the fuck it is.
Yep.
And it's the air is thick and acrid. It's like almost impossible to breathe. You know, it is a horrible place. Like, survivability is next to zero. The fact that I got to like make up, you know, a way to survive by her basically using her guile to get on the ends with some, you know, with some devils, you know, I like that was, you know, A, super appreciative, and B, like, you know, awesome, because it was like how am I gonna get like, you know, this crazy ass fucking, you know, Darkling chick to fucking survive in the hell? Like, oh, she's gonna work there. You know, that's because I mean,
work it off.
Well, no, but the thing is,
at the Hell Maid Cafe.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. But that's how her mind operates. You know, it's basically, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And he's like, I'm in hell. I can't beat hell. How do I get in and not die until you know I figure out a way to get out, or the people I hope are looking for me find a way to get me out. And, you know, that's how that whole storyline with her working at the cafe happened. You know, just basically like how realistically would she think of a way? And I'm like, you know, oh, look, I just started looking. I went through my Avernus books, and I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So there's you know, there's literally there's a district in the city of Brass where all the, you know, planeswalkers hang out. because it's literally it's like a resting stop also for a lot of planescapers, because it's like because there's such constant war. Aside from it being a literal fortress, which is what that city is, it's also a mercantile hub, because there's so much commerce happening there to fuel the war, that, you know, there's this unbeknownst side to it. And she's just like, well, I'm not gonna fight in the Blood War, fuck that shit. She's like, hey, you know, I gotta dead. Like, you know, I got some perky tits and a cute ass, you know. can I work here for a bit? And they're just like, sure, why not?
I think there's so many great moments. I really can't just pick one and call it, but there are two of some of my top favorites. And one of them was when Ash literally stomped a Elder Brain to death. It's just something I didn't expect, and I was just like, that was amazing. That was epic. The other epic moment was when when Azharen got that super fucking low percentile and we fought against that water titan. Oh my god.
I got Steve!
That was like the most terrifying moment, and yet it was so satisfying when we won. And because it was just it was awful.
I thought we were all dead. I rolled that
we
die
were like
and
level 5. We weren't even like that
I rolled those
high.
die and I'm like, oh fuck, I just killed the party.
Yeah, we were like level 4 or 5, and it was just like, well, we're dead. This is how we die. Somehow we're still at it.
I fucking murdered us. It was like, no, I just like really. It's like fucking one. Like really, the chance like of like what'd you roll? 1 on the percentile. Yeah.
That was the most terrifying and most epic victory I think we had. Even more than any other victory we had. I think that was just the top victory for us.
Yeah,
and then squashing the Elder Brain.
because yeah, that battle. I mean, you know, we were totally unprepared. We realistically should have fucking died.
We should have.
Yeah, we pulled one out of our fucking ass on that one.
Well, Tickles did a great job with opening up that little music box, because then it made ice everywhere, and I'm like, oh my god, we have a platform to stand on now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I completely forgot about that music box. I really did.
It was amazing.
I think one of the
Speaking of
one
which,
of the most sorry.
Sorry.
One of the most standout moments for me is right before the whole Elder Brain thing. When we were in that inn/tavern, and everyone was upstairs, and Ash was in her room drinking some guy, and half the party was in the midst of an argument, and Zale was there, and she knew that Yith was suffering further in the city, and she just walked out the door, gambling on that death that happened not being one of the party, which thankfully worked out. That it wasn't a particularly eventful moment, her walk through the city towards where Yith was, but it was the apex of her storyline. It all was just coming together in that one moment, and the battle happened, and it worked out. Yith was saved, obviously, for the most part, and
for the greater good.
Yeah.
Chop off a limb, it's fine.
After that session, I just sat here at my desk staring at a blank screen for at least 30 minutes, just processing and breathing. And I just, that was the moment in the campaign that just stopped me in my tracks afterwards. And it just felt perfect for that story. It was a good end, but it wasn't, sunshine and rainbows. Bad shit happened, but we came out the other side, and that really stuck with me.
What about you, HBFox?
Again, like you said, it's really fucking hard to pin one down.
Yeah.
I mean, when you run a high fantasy campaign like this and you have so many episodes, it's just, there's a lot of good moments. At least you would hope there are. But let's see here. A couple of mine would be you basically one-on-oneing that Baylor.
Oh yeah, that was terrifying.
Oh yeah, it was. Here. Oh, I had something.
That's right,
else.
because it was just you and me, and you were just buffing me the whole time.
Yeah, like I was too busy trying to make sure you stayed up.
Yeah. That
I
was
didn't
another
want to take the
terrifying
chance
battle.
of doing anything other than healing and buffing. Let's see here.
I mean, thank God that sword did radiant damage. I think that's what helped, but oh, it was terrifying.
I'll leave it at that for now because I had something else on my mind, but it's gone now. ADHD kicked in.
I do have a question. This is in regards for your guys' classes. Did you guys feel like throughout the whole campaign that you felt good for your classes, the direction you wanted it to go?
Yes. I probably would have gone full fighter, but because of what happened with the white dragons, I thought it would be fun to kind of play with the idea that she actually was cursed. Like, of course she was in the game, but I thought it would be kind of like add to that with just having the draconic blood now. But I probably would have gone full fighter anyway. But I really loved how she turned out, because some of the things I wanted to choose, again, Ash was all about protecting her team, so I chose a lot of stuff and tried to organize her in a way to where she can be a protector for you all. And thankfully, some of the stuff I did or adjusted, it kind of worked out, and I was really excited to play her. And now I'm super sad that I'm not a fighter anymore, because it was just so satisfying to be one. So yeah, I really liked how it all turned out.
Rose was an experiment in playing a min-max build and not intentionally min-maxing it. I do a lot of theory crafting for play stuff, and there's a particular ranged multi-class that is unbelievably broken if you do certain things with it. And my thing with Rose was like, how do I get something that's similar to this, but it's not as broken? Because when you play a min-max character, it's honestly kind of boring. I don't like the cookie cut. It's like whenever I play like MMOs, I always get yelled at because I'm not playing the meta. It's like, why don't you play it that way? I'm like, because that's boring. Leave me alone. So I was like, well, how do I do this? Like, oh, make her a glass cannon. So I started, so basically it was like, I thought of all the different glass cannon builds, that are in pretty much standard, D&D. And I'm like, I was looking at the different available options at the time that were legal, that Rhojin was okay for us to use. And I'm like, I mean, I can do this, but literally it's like, I get one Ubermensch shot, and then it's like, I need to hide. And I was like, I mean, I guess that's kind of cool. It's thematic. It's like every time the battle starts, it's like, I'm basically going to like shoot a megawad and then basically just hide behind some shit and like pluck some spells at you. And it's like, sure, let's give this a shot and see how that works out. And it was cool. I mean, I've gotten some pretty lucky rolls, and I've done some disgusting damage on that, that one shot. But again, that's what I built her for. It wasn't built to be like, oh, it's like, I'm just gonna beat the crap out of you every round. I'm like, it's like, no, it was like, it was basically 8 Mile. I got one shot. It's like, and if I fuck it up, it's like, oh well. It's like, on to plan B.
Anyone else? What about you, Tickles?
The main reason, when I was going with Gunslinger, one of the main reasons why I chose it was because, one, I grew up with a lot of Western, and like a lot of country, a lot of Western, and I wanted to try to see if there was any way I can, go shooty, and there was, and I had a little bit of fun with it, and I enjoyed it. I really did with that part of the class, and I am very thankful for Matt Mercer to actually make a class for that. So I want to shout out for him. Now the reason why I kind of delved into Artificer was I love how with a fantasy world to make things with machines. How it's like kind of like that steampunk type of stuff. And
That's why I like the Chimera Collective. It's the steampunk theme.
exactly. And the fact that they made it where, you know, like for season 3, we have little trains now, which is just the greatest thing how the human mind can make into a world of fantasy. And it's just absolutely freaking amazing, and able to like it's just the concept of creating things out of nothing, which I just loved about the artificer class. And just like, hey, you need something? Yeah, I got you. You know, there you go. It was like a crafting class, and I love crafting. As much as I would love to do more with it, there wasn't more options to make things as much as I would love to. But other than that, I had fun with it, and I was able to make cute little robots. I felt like what's his face from Aladdin. What was his name? Oh God, what was his name?
There was
It was
something
from-
in that,
Yeah, it was the show. It was.
Oh.
Oh, the actual Disney cartoon show.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
the
Oh
Disney
god, I haven't seen
cartoon
that since
show.
I was a kid.
Oh, okay, yeah.
where you know, like the bad guy creates all these little machines, and I felt like that, and it was actually really fun.
Would you have dipped more in Artificer if you could have? Now, granted,
honest-
Artificer wasn't. It was still in UA when we started this
Mhm.
campaign. About halfway through, then it became
Oh.
official.
Yeah.
But if it
Uh,
wasn't, would you have dipped more into Artificer if that was the case?
Oh, I don't really know. Like, knowing her, like with Tickles and the way she is now, like she's got everything that she needs currently at what level, and in terms of damage, in terms of, you know, like survivability. Knowing me, I would probably, what level we're at? 17, 15?
We were at 17 when we
17.
ended.
17. If there was a way for me to kind of rearrange everything, I probably would have tripled. Would have done some weird
You-
triple class.
Well, you were a bard, weren't you?
No, you're
You-
right. I did triple.
You did. I think you only
Yeah.
dipped a level or two into bard, though. I don't think you dipped too
One
hard
level.
into it.
Yeah.
Probably quad then.
Oh,
Just would've
damn.
been- she would have been like, "Fuck this shit. I'm going crazy."
What would
No.
have been your fourth one?
Ah.
I mean, you
if
still
I
got
would-
3 levels. We're gonna be 20 when we do all the other one shots.
That's true. I could. What kind of
Just saying.
bullshittery would Tickles try to delve? You know,
I mean, you could probably officially take Warlock.
I could officially
I would say
take
that or rogue. I can see you being rogue.
a rogue.
Back
I-
tactics
I-
with sneak attack.
Oh God.
Yeah, not to mention like
Jeebus.
expertise. Your I think your perception's already like fucking ridiculous. So if you like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
There's-
see infinity.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things you can dip into that
Yeah.
at a fourth, since you're already that high of a level and you're just gonna go to 20 straight, like to put 3 levels in something else, you know, because honestly, the only, like, you're giving up maybe an ASI and maybe one really good class feature
Yeah.
to basically, like, if it's something that you're not already dipped into, you know, to get the 3rd level of something off the bat at that part, I mean, that's pretty badass. It's like, yeah, you don't get the ASI, but you know, the kit additions could really, you know, put you over the line.
I mean, you want to go 5?
Oh god.
I mean,
I am upset.
One in Rogue, 2 in Warlock. You get the Eldritch Invocations, and you get the Expertise and 1 sneak attack die.
I could.
Now, see, I
Oh,
was
no.
wondering if you made if you chose Gunslinger, because back in season 1, Genesis used guns as well.
So so that was actually another reason why, is because I was a little upset that Genesis died.
Poor Genesis.
I know, poor guy.
We never got a chance to know that guy well. He's got so-
And the whole thing is that we were going with so much homebrew stuff. I didn't have like an official like thing with the class, so I went with Ranger with him, and then I just changed up the names of the skills. It was the same skills. It was Ranger. I just, you know, like one was like called like Rain of Arrows, but I called it the Cordon of Bullets.
I mean, why
And-
not? You're not tied down to that. I say
I
go
know,
with it.
I know that. It's just that when I try to put my imagination is really out there, and I love doing that.
Mhm.
It just kind of sucks when I put my mind to something, I'm limited. To, like, I can't. I'm like, why? But other than that, it's like, fuck. I would have to figure out what I wanted to do with her and everything else. You know, would I go for a 5th class? Sure. You know, because at this point it's just an experiment. If you got you guys had
True.
awesome ideas, and if you guys have more for that, then sure, I would gladly do it just to see what people's reactions would be.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out when we do the one shots, and I have to update everyone's character cards. We'll see what crazy shit you
The
come up
main,
with.
I will say that the main reason why I chose, Artificer, was the fact of because she lost her arm, and I was going with the whole Anakin Skywalker bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I lived for it. I loved it, and Arcassus was already a thing in this world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, and then because of the whole the reason why I chose the feat for the Warlock Initiate type of thing.
Magic Initiate.
Yeah, the Magic
Yeah.
Initiate was because of the fact that she married Piper, and he gave her a little bit of power.
I like
Not
that.
So that's what I was going with on that. That's why she was able to hex, why she was able to do a few other things. And
He would be her patron for sure.
Exactly.
Well, Rose still believes, because I mean that the whole Magic Initiate thing isn't known in character.
Yeah.
yeah,
So Rose 100% believes, because she didn't even bother inciting. She's like, oh, she can start doing warlock shit, and her husband's like a greater demon. Oh, okay.
It makes sense. It makes
Make-
perfect sense, which is why I never questioned
in
it.
her mind, that is lock and key.
yeah. But it's not, which is the greatest. It's the greatest achievement I have ever pulled, because Rose was absolutely never amazed or anything by Tickle. She's like, oh, she's just a loose cannon, whatever. But that was her greatest achievement, is to fool you.
That sounds like a very Tickles thing to do.
Yeah, she's like, if I could fool someone into believing it, I've done my job. But if she told the truth,
I mean, I don't know if it's so much of a fool. It's it's something that
Don't take this away from her. Don't you take this away from her.
Well, no, I mean the thing is because I have to defend my girl. It's such a logical leap of faith for her that if you was like, aha, I fooled you, she would be like, oh, okay, because in her mind it
It made sense.
yeah, if you took Magic Initiate and then you were doing, you did find familiar, and it wasn't an imp, and you were throwing out fucking magic missiles, and she didn't see you using a spell book, then she'd be like, what the fuck's going on with this rat?
Don't give her ideas. She's got 3 more levels.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
she'd have been like, what the fuck's going on? Because that would have been weird. But the fact that you're using spells in Rose's kit, and she knows how you become a warlock, and she knows personally firsthand what your husband is, she's like, oh yeah. It's in her mind, it's she'd be dumb not to.
you know what? Just for that, I have something special, and I'm just gonna do it for thing, and I'm gonna tell you. All right. You know how she's always been a ranged character? I'm just gonna make her a monk.
Make her a monk.
Oh God.
She now goes up.
I'm out of ammo. Flips the guns around, flurry of blow, pistol whip.
She's like, boom, boom. I got knuckles, bitch. Let's go.
See, and this is what I was talking about earlier about how well we play our characters, is that it's the little things like that that are perfect. Like how you said, obviously this is my husband. He would have given me some powers. Obviously it would make sense that you would take Magic Initiate for Warlock because of stuff like that. It's so perfect, and I love it when people do that, because it just makes sense story-wise. It's like, yeah.
And it's the same thing
totally.
with you when you did with your when you had a little bit of the dragon's blood in you, you did something to change your character based off that. And I'm sure others as well, that you guys have taken something to change what your character does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rose is not my original roadmap. where she is right now. It's like just because things changed throughout the campaign. I mean, I literally had no idea I was going to end the season as a celestial warlock. Like
Yeah, that's cool.
that never ever entered my mind. You know,
Super jealous you're a mermaid.
Yeah.
Super jealous.
And then I'm a mermaid. Yeah, I'm a mermaid. Like I love that.
Bitch.
I love that. Like you have no idea. Like I wanted more time to like do all the shit. Like because I told you Rose has a fascinacious complex. So the fact that she has a shrine in Daggerfall to Coatil and there are worshippers elates her. So she doesn't care. There's more than one. So it's worshipers. It's the groundwork. That's all she cares about. The seed has been laid.
I still like the whole idea of Coatil just sitting there. It's like, the fuck is up with these 5 gnolls in the middle of the desert worshiping me?
That's me. I did a thing.
Speaking of which,
but why though?
Speaking of which, just to continue what Groudon said, what about you, HBFox, with your character and their classes and their map? Both Zale and Kyo.
I mean, Kyo is easy. She's a full druid. It's what she's always meant to be. I love my druids too much to multi-class them into anything else.
Fair.
Zale originally was supposed to be full-on duelist rogue, not multi-classed into anything whatsoever. But then suddenly she became the matriarch, and something had to change. And Bloodhunter kind of hit the scene at that same time. The Bloodhunter that Zale is the original Bloodhunter. It's not the updated one with all the new stuff added to it and changed.
Which I love that he kept both of those out. So he has 2 PDFs for people who want to stick old school or take the new one because they're both valid and appropriate for 5e.
Yeah. And Zale, it felt right to have her as something with a little more gravitas to it, with her being the matriarch, and Bloodhunter really fit that bill. It didn't feel right to have some like super sleuth assassin be the leader of this Gnoll tribe. It just didn't fit that vibe at all. And I think it worked out for her in these most recent levels, because I kept her at the same level as everyone else just in case. She did start dipping. She did start dipping back into Rogue a little bit. I think she's 5 levels in Rogue now,
oh wow,
and the rest in Bloodhunter.
Nice.
So she's formidable at the moment, but definitely not what I thought she would end up being. And I'm happy for that, because I feel anyway, it fits the story more appropriately than what I had originally intended.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have had the option to be able to play with Zale again?
I did announce at the end of the campaign that Zale was retired at that point. Mm-hmm. I'm still open to her being pulled into that diorama that she picked up with that battle that has to happen, because that did feature her specifically with the rest of the group. So I'm fine with her being pulled into that, but outside of that, her battlefield is now politics, which it's kind of weird how that worked out, because I don't remember the exact numbers. I'd have to double check her sheet, but I think it's impossible for her to roll lower than a 21 on a persuasion check.
Jesus Christ.
A 21 is her nat wanting a persuasion check.
I can't talk because I see everything.
Yeah.
So and it's weird how that worked out, because she was never intended to be a politician, but persuasion is a very politician thing to have.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I don't remember why, but I had her proficient in it at the beginning of the campaign. And then the deck pull gave her expertise in it. And then the second deck pull gave her mastery of it. And it all just kind of worked out for
That's
her
cool.
being the politician that she ended up being, with all that random stuff coming together and filling in those blanks. And it's fitting for her, despite her hating every second of it.
Yep. What about you, Caldross? Oh, HBFox said Caldross.
Well, so I stopped taking levels in Paladin shortly after joining the group, if not immediately after joining the group.
How many levels?
12.
12? Okay.
I also didn't take hardly any levels in Warlock. Basically, once Caldross saw the need of him being at the front line more often than not, whether it was to deal damage or to help buff the front line and do the protection fighting style to do disadvantage on attacks coming in on his friends, I started taking fighter at that point because needed more actions.
Why didn't I put fighter on your character sheet then? Did I miss
Why
that?
didn't you?
Because y'all, I can't keep track of all y'all's character sheets. So going forward in the future, Rhojin, if you can please give me access to everyone's character sheets. So if when I need to update cards. Hey, I was good when I did have access to everyone's cards earlier. I only ever touched them and looked at them when I was updating character cards. I didn't look at anything else because that's not fun. But that's just me. Well, I'm updating your freaking character card then because I only have Paladin and Warlock on there.
Well, do you have the subclasses on there?
No, because you don't tell. You have to tell
Okay,
me.
good. Then you won't have to. Then you won't have to change those.
Well, I'm gonna have to do them when we level up to 20 for all of our shenanigans. So. I do have a question for everyone. If some of us we kind of already knew, we already explored it, and if you guys want to add on to it, please do. I definitely would love to know more. But if something were to happen to your characters a little earlier on, what was your backup idea for a character?
I had way too many. Oh,
right?
Fuck.
I didn't have one.
Oh no. So if you were stuck
Yeah.
in Avernus, you just didn't. You were like, oh, I gotta think for a while.
Like when Rose survived Avernus, and I was actually going to like, all right, cool. It's like let me figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do. I was just like, at that point, it was like, all right. It was ride or die at that point. It was like, because in my mind, it was like, that's the most fucked up shit you can get chucked into by yourself, and come out the other end. Like, oh, I have some, infernal taint. That's it. I'm not like, like worst case scenario, for being there is like, I could have been a fucking lemur on the battlefield. I came out, I have a little bit of abyssal taint. I got a girlfriend and a Rakshasa buddy. I'm good. I'm Gotti. Fuck it. It's like this character is what I'm rolling with until she is actually officially 100% dead, and then I'll figure something out at that point.
Oh god.
So speaking of your demon girlfriend, are you now double dipping into both her and Gilly's character?
That's
No. I
a good
initially
question.
I was thinking about that, and then I thought about it because like Rose has outside of her actual family and you lot, like she has no other connections, and aside from the party, she has no actual connections outside of the mob, and she knows she's gonna live a long life, and she's very much influenced by the people around her coupling off and exploring this their relationships, first Zale, then Ashton, so I mean, yeah, she knows eventually people get married and like whatever. But in her mind, she figured, if she ever got married, it'd be political. It would be like, to join two factions, to, make a stronger, gang. So she never really thought about the whole marriage concept. And then she's like, there's now this person in my life I have these feelings for, and she might die before I'm ready for her to die. So she's like, I need to take precautions to keep her in my life for as long as possible until we get sick of each other. So, like she would have.
Damn those short-lived people.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of people wonder why Rose does the thing she does. One of Rose's flaws, her like apex flaw, is that she has a bias towards short-lived lives. Anything that has a lifespan under 100 years, she doesn't bother with, which is why in the beginning, when everybody was first getting to know Rose, she was very standoffish, because she's like, why am I bothering getting to know you? You're going to die in 3 decades.
Because it's the time we have now together.
Or be like, non-adventuring. She's like, whatever. Well, the thing is, it's like, the way I had it was like, Rose grew up in a Fae-ish world, but she herself wasn't Fae. She was just influenced by Fae.
But she still had a long life.
Yeah, she had a long life, which is why it's like, what's something I can give her a flaw on that would make sense for how she was raised. And one of the actual legit biases in the chart for flaws is your prejudice towards short lives. I'm like, okay, cool. So she's like, if you're not living past 100, I got no time for you. You're disposable assets. And that's how she initially thought of the party, especially Zale, because she was like, oh fuck, those fuckers don't live anywhere near long lives. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
she's like whatever. It's like that's a one and done right there.
Yeah.
But the party changed a fundamental character trait of her. So she's like, she knows she loves Tarashara, but she doesn't understand fully, love in the same aspect people outside of her family unit express love. So she's like, I know I have these feelings and I don't want to get rid of them anytime soon. And she knows marriage is an option, which is why she's, doing what she's doing. It's not so much that, she's, she has, fucking, gumdrops and, twinkle stars in her eyes. She's like, I feel this way for this particular person, and I want to make sure I do everything in my power to make sure I keep them in my life as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's, for her being a chaotic character, this is the most regimented thing she can think of, because it's the only thing in her mind that connects the dots. And that's how she operates. She's like, if the dots don't connect at the end point, it's like, which is another one of her flaws, which is why she just haphazardly sometimes does shit. It's like, don't plan anything and expect her to stay with the plan. She's like, okay, whatever, I'll do whatever you guys are doing, and if something else looks like it feels better, that's where I'm gonna go. And that's just how she operates. And how she feels at this moment in her life, it's like, this is something I want to pursue. Not so much as that it's something that she planned on it happening. It's just like, this is where I am right now in my life, and I want to see where it takes me.
Okay. What about you? I keep saying Caldross. I mean, you are Caldross, but HBFox. If Caldross died, did you have an idea for a backup character?
It's better than calling Caldross Tyrus.
That's
You're the same person. You can't change my mind.
Wow. That means
for
you're dead to him.
New character named Ritus.
Yes. For the longest time, the answer would have been no, but your goddamn influence. I eventually did make a backup character.
I make so many.
And he was going to be a pretty crazy old fogey lizard folk Cleric of the Forge, Artificer, Battlesmith.
Oh dang, that'd be a good combo.
And basically he was gonna just run into the middle of battle with like a repeating shot blunderbuss and a heavy shield. just
Wait, you have the
blow
two-handed
shit up.
blunderbuss.
Well, something like that, right?
Okay, Graves.
Wait I'm just
No.
picturing this shield with a battle hole.
Yeah.
Like you just put the blunderbuss through it and you're just like running around like this the whole time. Like,
And
Yeah, you make a breaching shield.
and
That's
basically
what the Spartans did.
Basically, he was gonna just be psychotic, like old Viking, get me to Valhalla already kind of mentality.
I'm done with this shit. Somebody kill me already.
So you're basically Drac. You're Drac from
Sure.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Sure, why not?
oh my god.
Like, he doesn't necessarily wish for death, but he's so fucking old that if it happens, he's like, yes!
Ascron.
What
Oh,
about
that's-
if Kyo died? Did you have a backup for Kyo?
So I don't tend to make backup characters until I need a backup character. Kyo herself didn't have one. And initially, I didn't have one planned at all until the first time that Zale died. Right after that session, I quickly threw together... Actually, now that I think about this,
Oh, yeah.
this is the second time that Rhojin has taken one of my PCs and turned it into an NPC. I made Yith as my backup character.
Oh.
And Zale ended up not dying. So I never ended up using Yith, and then he was introduced as an NPC. Then the second time that Zale died, I created... what was her name?
Oh, I was trying to remember her name.
Reen.
Oh,
the
her.
Raven folk.
And
And she was a wizard, wasn't she?
yeah, she was a wizard, geomancer.
Yeah.
Zale came back, so I never ended up using her. Ended up throwing her in as an NPC in No Way Out,
Loved
and
her.
then Zale left, and I brought in Kyo, and I never had a backup for Kyo, and Kyo never even came remotely close to death, not once. She only went unconscious once, and that was
Okay,
when
then.
it was essentially a scripted event for us all to go unconscious in that battle down at the bottom of the library or vault or whatever it was.
Oh, yes.
Where Cal lost his sword.
Yeah.
Beg to
That's the
differ.
only time she went unconscious, and she had like layers of abilities to stop her from dying. So I never even gave a backup character
Wow.
a second thought for her.
So
I
overconfident.
I beg to differ. There was one time where Kyo came close to death. And you know what? This was actually, thank you for reminding me, this was one of the moments that I thought was one of my favorites. When we're all sitting there going, should Ash use a wish to get the phylactery? Should we go on a journey to go get
Yeah.
the phylactery? And
That
Kyo's
was
just like,
fine.
teleport, grab, Leviathan almost ate me, cool, no problem.
Leviathan.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good
That was
time.
not a great
yeah.
moment. Yeah. And then
That,
with
that was like a pinnacle Kyo moment.
yeah, that was a lot of fun too. Groudon, would you have played Dice fully if Tickles kicked the bucket?
Yes, actually, I would have played Dice fully if the party wouldn't kill me first.
I was about to say, what was your backup character
was
for
your
when the party killed you?
I had a plan for an Illithid.
Oh,
I had a
that's
plan for-
right. You mentioned it briefly in our Discord chat.
Yes, I know how, and Rhojin has mentioned it many times that it's a target on my back, but it's just something that I've always wanted to play was an Illithid, and it's like I had this whole story like where like the Illithid was raised the opposite way of what they're initially intended. Was the Illithid was raised by a drow. because
That makes sense. They're both underground.
well, if I remember correctly, the story with the Drows hated the Illithids because they were used as slaves. Well,
To
when
be fair, everybody
Oh,
hates
he's
the Illithid.
Illithid because they
Yeah.
use them as slaves.
well, yeah,
And
Yeah.
breeding tubes.
Yeah.
and
You thought
Well,
Ash was
I
using
want-
people's Capri Suns.
I want like a lot of my characters were always so what's the word,
Out of the
like,
box.
out of the box and headbutting.
Yeah.
As in like the total opposite of what you expected in lore and story. Is
I like it.
I wanted this drow to find this very young Illithid and to raise it. I know how Illithids are born. It's all weird bullshit. All right. But
It
it was
is.
like okay, was to raise this Illithid as its own, even though it has a self-loathing of it. But as time grew up, it started to care for the character, and then my Illithid would have understood that I'm hated. Why am I hated? And then trying to learn the history of their people and understand like, why were we like this? This is wrong, you know, type of thing. I was trying to implement it in a way of kind of like the Holocaust in a sense, which is kind of weird, but in a small history of something like that.
I get it. It's like, you
Mhm.
know.
So like a majority of my characters, I like to really do outside the box, and you know, then I had I had one where it was like both, you know, the opposite of an Asimar, you know, was a halfling of it, and then there was that, and then I wanted to do a
Halfling.
yeah, like not halfling, it was just like half
Half of
angel,
one.
half demon
Right.
type of thing, and then you know we finally had that.
ASMR Tiefling.
Yeah, and
We
then
discussed before.
yeah, we discussed this before. I actually really did like anything was like my mind wanders way too much. It was like, is it possible to do this? You know, because you know, of course, you know, hey, magic, hey, it's the fantasy. Like I just like thinking outside the box than what others usually intend because I don't like originality. I hate originality, and I hate. You know, I just love unorthodox things.
hmm
So those were like kind of like my plans, and I had one for a rabbit folk, but that got changed.
Well, let's do more to the story setting. Doesn't
Yeah,
mean you can't do
yeah.
it in the future.
It doesn't mean I can't do it in the future. It doesn't mean I can't.
So you basically go from a rat folk that wants to fuck everything to a rabbit folk that wants to fuck everything.
No,
They're
I
essentially the
no.
The only thing is like I would still hold that thing that rabbit folk have those weak hearts. They're
Yeah.
more prone to fear to anything.
Oh
It's like,
god.
oh, you got a fear spell cast on you? Roll a Constitution saving throw.
That
I mean, that's-
and whatever the fuck Shadow
disadvantage.
Fox is playing is gonna try and kill you.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's
but,
just the
like,
player coming out wanting to murder Hobo.
I have plenty of options and characters that I want to run with, and I can't wait for you guys to see them when I do finally use them and build them.
hmm
You know, and it's just like, and I will say that every single character that I've had meant something to me.
Good.
Like actually did meant something to me, and the reason why I made them, like I've mentioned this before, usually not on stream, but like when we have a lot of chats before we go back live on air. Like I made Tickles based off of a movie I really enjoyed as a kid, and what would it be like if I was a female. Genesis because I love, and Tickles because of I like cowboys. I had what was her name? Was it? I can't remember. When we went to go into the Wildlands, who did I play? It was a samurai
you were playing a
character.
tiefling. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Why can't I remember her name? Why can't you remember her name?
Why can't I remember? Did I name her Ferris? No.
Nope, I can pull it up right now.
Please.
Alright.
But I made her because I loved the Eastern style of samurais. I love that type of stuff. And
Farron.
Farron, thank you. And I wanted her to be like just one word, because if she would have said more words, she would have been known by her history. Like she's like, I can't say as much as I want to, otherwise I'm found out. It's kind of like you can say like a curse would be like if I said more than one fucking word, there was a chance that she would have been found out and probably been killed.
Is that why every time you open up your mouth towards the dwarf, you just went, hate you?
I mean, let's be honest. He said enough words for the whole group.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Oh, what was it? Dice was pretty much a running joke based off of season 1 because of Necrath is dumb shit. So like that one was more of an honor for Rhojin because I know he loves minotaurs. So that was more of a running gag. Genesis was just a straight up just an experiment. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I first did D&D. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I didn't know like what I was doing. But I had a great time. So
Yeah, you definitely probably would have eventually needed a backup for dice depending on how things progressed.
yeah,
The
I
party
would
would
have
killed.
I would have been very, very careful what I did. I'm sure if it would have came down to, I'm sure that Rhojin would probably stop the whole killing me thing. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't think you would have.
I don't allow people to intentionally kill other player characters.
Yeah,
But our reasons were valid.
yeah.
You say that, but I'm pretty sure you gave me the opportunity to kill Tickles, and I was going to do it too. The only reason it didn't happen is because I took too long.
What were you
It
gonna
was-
do to kill me?
That's true. That's true. Back
It
at the
was the
Coliseum.
the matriarch fight.
Oh,
Um,
right.
Yeah.
When the matriarch gave Zale the opportunity, and Zale was gonna do it, but I don't know if you remember, Groudon, but I messaged you on Discord in that moment. I was like, I have to do what Zale would do here. I'm sorry,
And I
I
said-
love Tickles, but
I know. And I said, that is okay. Do what
yeah.
you needed to do. She already made her choice and her decision.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm just going with it because, you know, I love playing Tickles is how much I can push that boundary without breaking. And that was the point that I broke it.
but I took too long making that decision, and the matriarch got impatient and threw her axe at me.
Yep.
And it wasn't like, oh, here, hold this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cash.
Yeah. For me, I mean, Javoth, we all met him. He
What a
would've been my
playboy.
backup.
I love him.
Oh man, Rose
Oh,
wanted to kill him so bad.
He's a sadomasochist. He
Oh.
really is.
I love that guy and I hated him. Oh man.
She's crying. Yeah, he's a lot of fun to play. He's a poor broken toy. But he was so much fun to play, and I'm really sad that I actually didn't get to play him more. But he so depending on what happens with the one shots, for the most part I am bringing Ash back, but I already had a conversation with Rhojin where there's certain things that she definitely wants to finish with the group, but there's other things where she's just like, nah, I've been away from home for too long. So there's a chance he's probably gonna pop in from time to time. But he was my fun broken toy. And then if he passed away, I had this really fun idea, because at the time we didn't really have a dedicated healer or anything, and all the shit we were getting into, I'm like, we probably should have a healer. We probably should. So I thought it would be fun I was going to play a centaur cleric. But I was going to make her, and I know Rhojin allows it depending on which ones we play, because the Midgard ones are different from the other ones, but there's the medium ones, because I wanted her to be smaller, a little bit skinnier, and one of my favorite movies is The Last Unicorn, and I was basically going to make this cleric look kind of like the character from there, and she was actually going to have a horn sticking out, and just be like this slender, sleek horse centaur person. Which also in a way kind of worked out because I would have played her a little bit more innocent, and all the bullshit that was happening with our group and the story just would have hurt her. But she was always like a fun backup character to be this cleric. And I think I was originally going to have her be like of the shepherd, because everyone's playing Twilight, but Shepherd made more sense as far as like all the different abilities I wanted her to know that felt like it was from the movie. So, but yeah, I'm excited if and when it happens, bring Jolvoth back, because he's my bag of crazy.
Bag of crazy.
Yeah, I'm
I
so
can
sorry
do
you
that.
want to kill him. Why do you want to kill him?
He just honestly, he just rubbed Rose the wrong way.
Oh, that's fair.
You know, and again, you know, pre her chilling out, you know, she was just like, oh, this guy's a pain in the ass, I'm gonna have to kill him. Slake was
She would have been like, I'd like to see you try.
was literally the thoughts in her head. It's like, oh yeah, he's a pain in the ass, he needs to die.
I think he also made his appearance at a high tension moment in the campaign, because Ash was trapped at that moment, so we were all like fed up with everybody.
Yeah.
Like immediately. So anyone that didn't just comply with whatever we said right away, it's like, okay, I'm done with you, off my fucking ship.
Yeah.
Look, I gave him fair warning. He didn't answer me. I shot him. That was it.
I'm sorry, stranger danger.
Okay, I don't
He knows
know
what
you.
happens when you have names as well. You ask what his name is, he's like, fuck you, I don't know you.
You know,
He was just
there's a
being smart
point.
about it.
That's why you have an alias.
But you know what? It's fine, because when you shot him, he was fine with it. He was like, yeah, mommy, do it again.
Okay, all right, but you ain't gonna be my daddy.
It's like, I already got one, he's over there.
That's
He's
why,
over there.
That's why it was just funny when like
I
the
wanted so
hag...
bad for Piper to fuck him up. Please. God damn.
Oh man, there were so many times where you were just desperate for Piper to just show up and murk a
Yeah.
fool.
Like,
Yeah.
please do it. God damn, make me horny of the bloodlust. That's what she wanted.
It's just like,
I'm not gonna lie, I did want to see my brother and daddy in action, and I was just like, oh, we're not gonna see it full
Oh,
fledged, but it's
man.
gonna be cool.
okay.
But he did
yeah.
tease it was like Castlevania style, and I was like, fuck yeah. Well, we have time for probably a couple more questions. I do want to try to wrap up around 11:30, like our normal time. So, did you guys have any other questions for each other?
Yes, I have a question for Rhojin.
Uh-oh.
What did Kata do with Atak, his brother?
Atak is still around.
I figured he's still around somewhere, but Kata, quote unquote, dealt with him.
Mhm.
But we have no idea what he actually did with him.
He put him in his place.
Oh damn.
It was just like, you are not to fuck with these people anymore. You are not to cross this line. You could screw with the lives of other mortals, but these ones are off limits. And he pretty much gave him a list of people he could not screw with.
Damn.
We
Laid
made the
down
list,
law.
guys.
I like it.
Follow up
This
to
is
that.
But it is a devil's list, so
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, hey, we made the list of being like, don't fuck with us. Follow up actually to that. Unfortunately, as many of you guys know, Mags was not able to continue this campaign with us, and Molly had to disappear. So, Rhojin, what exactly happened to Molly? Where did she end up, and what's her final tale?
So pretty much Kata took her that night that she vanished. Like with his like last like oomph of power, he took her away because he wasn't going to let technically his little girl like walk around in that hellscape.
Yep.
And he took her back to her home where she had been she's been there since she left you guys, and she is now in the seat of power as pretty much their ruling empress.
Well, what happened to her parents though? Were her parents still alive after they like sacrificed her to?
Yeah, her parents are
creature?
still alive.
Did she forgive her parents?
She hasn't found her parents.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
'cause
the
it-
siege
she
was open when she got back home.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, because her parents did the thing that saw her end up with the
Sold her soul basically to the demon.
Yeah, and she lived in the grove or whatever it
Mhm.
was with what's her name?
Cece, I think her name was.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Cece.
Yeah.
What happened to Cece? Did she go down with the rest of Tharia?
Cece went down with the rest of Tharia. Yeah.
Thought that might
Like
be the
when
case.
she said her final goodbyes, it was pretty much goodbye forever. She did what she
Yeah.
could in order to maintain the forest as much as she could, but at the end she ended up expiring.
You know what? The way she made it sound too, when we did find her, she did have that moment of we're probably not going to see each other again, but obviously none of that stuff was happening yet. But now it's just still sad. But that bitch didn't contact us at all. I'm talking about Molly.
To be fair, you guys were jumping on to different planes a fair bit at the end there.
Yeah.
Zale couldn't contact you either. She tried.
That's
That was
I
more-
She's like, I'm
love
getting a
that-
busy tone. Where are they?
I
That
love
was
every
more-
time you tried to contact the party, we were on a different plane and you couldn't. That was amazing.
That
the
was
fact-
more Kata wouldn't let her contact you.
Oh.
He was keeping her away from you.
What did we do?
Your bad influences. She would have tried to come back to you if she heard what was going on.
You know what? I'm gonna have some words for him. That's why I didn't want to, like, when he came back, I didn't know how to react because obviously we didn't know the situation with Molly. So it was definitely one of those things where I'm like, I'm gonna wait until we get some more information. But definitely pissed at him. That asshole.
I want to know, as much as this is a great pleasure of me for this, is what happened with Null? Did he finally say, I'm
Oh,
fucking done?
he's coming back for campaign 3. Watch.
Noel is not somebody who just says, I'm done. Noel is still doing his thing out and about, keeping an eye out for things that can screw up what the timeline is supposed to be.
Is he finally done getting stabbed in the dick?
Because in all intents and purposes,
No.
Null is an agent of the Keeper.
Which is why he knew what was going on, but he couldn't say why it was happening.
But I'm noticing a theme. He was in campaign 1 and campaign 2. That fucker's coming
Oh
back
god,
for campaign 3.
oh Jesus Christ.
At
that
some
means
point.
that means Null was fucking Pearl, like in Steven Universe.
Yeah.
He's so Null. You've always said Null is like your
My
Q.
Q.
So
Yeah.
does that make Keeper the continuum?
The Keeper is pretty much the continuum.
Whoa.
Because there are other Nulls out there. It's not just him.
Yeah, I tortured one.
Was that the same one that we fucked with?
You were led to believe it was the same one, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Aw,
Oh.
I am so upset with that now.
Alright. I have an NPC question as well. I want to know if Mac A knew that Sarah wasn't actually Sarah when he was working for her, and B, what did the dragon do to get Mac to turn on Rose? Like, was it just like money? Like, what happened there?
Just business.
Just business?
It was
Mother-
just
It was a
business.
sweeter deal.
She
It
can
was,
re-
it was nothing against Rose or anything like that. He still respects her. It was just strictly business.
She can respect that.
What happened to the red dragon daddy?
He's still around.
Okay.
Pining over Ash.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't go anywhere. He's still down there. That's why I avoided that whole area in No Way Out.
I do have a question for Rhojin,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to say details, but you can just say a specific part. for next season, who are you most looking forward to with their characters?
With what you know so far.
Anything, because it will give it away, because I can't just say somebody's name and not give a reason. Like,
But you
anything
have an
I
answer.
say, I have an answer, but I can't say it at this point in time.
Is it multiple people?
It is multiple people, but
Okay.
without giving away what your characters are or what their goals are, I can't do it.
That's
Okay.
fine. You don't have to
That's
reveal
fine.
anything.
That's perfectly
I
fine.
mean,
That's
you
perfectly fine.
could-
But now I
you
want to know.
could just say their names, but not being able to say why would also be like torture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But watch, it's like someone we never expected. Like, oh my god, it was me.
Well, I know it's not me because I have a very simplistic backstory.
You
Yeah,
say
but so did
simplistic.
Tyrus, and look what happened to him.
You say
You-
simplistic. I say
Tragic
through the middle.
backstory.
Actually, it's kind of funny because when, because I think he said it off stream, I can't remember, but when Raven explained what Tyrus went through, it was kind of funny to me because I was like, holy shit, him and Javoth would have been like besties, because Javoth went through something very similar. Totally different scenario, of course, but like the trauma was like very similar, and I was like, oh shit, they could have been buds, could have been bros.
Tyrus, I don't think he'd let himself be besties with anyone.
That's true. He wouldn't allow himself to get close enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wouldn't allow himself to get close enough with
Yeah.
himself. Like, whoa, stop. Hey, oh man.
That was probably like my favorite part too with Raven playing Tyrus, is that he had the ability, because he was a Simic hybrid, he had the ability to breathe underwater, and yet every single time he stuck his head underwater to do a perception check, he would crit fail so hard.
Yep.
Every single
Just
time.
because you can breathe underwater doesn't mean you can see
But the
underwater.
cool part was like, oh shit, he's just gonna be like, I'm gonna look for shit and I can stay under here forever, and his perceptions would just be shit.
So
And it was
horrible.
so funny to me because I don't think he got a good perception check underwater once, and it was just so funny to me.
Yeah, like I specifically remember when we were on the boat when Rose was being, I guess, courted by Coateal when she was following the ship. he's like, what the fuck is that black shadow over there following the boat? It's like, oh.
It was so funny. That's why I did that one emote where it was his face with the question mark, because he was just like, I don't know what I see. What? Just.
Tyrus was a fun
funny.
character.
He was.
Yeah. I think so far, I mean, Raven's played a lot of awesome characters, but I think Tyrus so far is my favorite of his.
Made it worse when he died. It was very
Yeah.
it was very bittersweet how he died, but it was really sad because technically that was our first player death, like
Yeah,
permanent
Yep.
player death.
If I had the ability to change any of those events, I wouldn't, because they were perfect for
They were.
Tyrus, but it was still really sad.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
it was so
Rose
sweet at the
is-
end when you rang the bell with the throw.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything, too. I
No,
was
it-
like,
like-
oh my god, my
That was
heart, my
great.
heart.
Yeah, Rose would have undone that ring if she had a wish. FYI.
I know,
And-
like.
In her mind, like, fuck those guys. She got to sit and watch Tyrus give up on life and
But
fade
he
away.
didn't give up on life, though. He was tired of
Not-
like the shit that he's gone through, and he felt like he was finally at peace. And he finally, after everything his past has gone through, where people were repeatedly killing him for experiments, he got to choose his death, and he was at
But-
peace with it.
But that's not how she took it, though.
That's fair. But I just like how.
I mean, I understand from an outside perspective, yeah. But in the moment, all that she could see was that, you know, these people like you know, were part of a friend of hers or someone she considered, you know, to becoming a friend, beaten to the point where he just would rather choose death than to fight on and live. and she had no forgiveness in her heart for that. Zero.
I know for every year until the day she dies, Ash is going to his grave marker and is going to pay respects to him.
That's actually something that I have written in Kyo's epilogue as well. On the same day every year, she goes to that crystal tree with his shield embedded in it that she made, and just
no one
spends
dare
the day
touch
there.
his fucking shield. I'll tell you that right now. Me and Kyo will go on a rampage.
I'm sad I didn't get to show that to anyone either, because I had this whole moment planned with Caldros at that tree, but we never got there.
Yeah.
Well,
We can still do it.
It'll make you really happy to know that since Glimmercross got restored, Caldros and Fear's plans would have changed, because Caldros had originally suggested Malorsic for setting up their new home, and she had suggested Glimmercross, but now that it's restored, there's only Malorsic left. So that would be their new home, and that would be a protected monument.
Oh,
Good.
thank God. I don't
Yeah.
want his kids near my kids.
His kids nearby.
Wow.
Wow.
But you guys would be really close to each other.
Oh, God.
But
Look at him.
because it was just, especially now since you have Timeless Body, we would be visiting him for many years, and I'm sure other people, I don't know if anyone else would do it, but I know like Kyo and I, that would be like, if we were so busy in our lives that we couldn't see each other, that would be like the one day we would kind of hang out. And
I could totally imagine a scenario where it's like 30 years down the road, and Kyo and Ash are just standing there at this tree, quietly paying respect, and then Kyo just like looks over and she's like, Ash, why aren't I aging?
and because Ash doesn't know druidic magic, she's just gonna be
Am I
like,
a vampire?
you're a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard, Kyo.
It's like she's gonna leak. She's just gonna leak it that Kyo's actually a vampire, and it's just gonna be that Nicolas Cage scene, running down the street screaming, "I'm a vampire."
Oh my God.
You know what? I actually forgot about the crystallized tree for a moment. I think what would be fun, just as a little flair, just to add it, is that every year Ash would go to visit, she would hang some sort of ornament or trinket on that tree, and just keep adding on to it every single year.
And then one year she's gonna go there and see a whole shit ton as it becomes some sort of weird tradition in Malorsic.
There
no one
was
fucking touch this.
one other alteration that I wanted to do to that tree, but I was saving it for the moment that never happened between Caldros and Kyo at the tree, where Kyo was gonna ignite an eternal flame within the tree, like she did in the glass orb that she snuck into Caldros's pocket.
That's right.
Um,
Well, we have time for probably one
mean-
more question.
I mean, all that's still very possible, especially since that was where I was gonna have Caldros set up the new kingdom with Fira.
Oh, and it's right next door. It's in the garden where the Duke sat. So yeah.
And the one thing that I tweaked about Caldros, because he's a Drow Aasimar, is that he's got the Drow lifespan. So I mean, there's the chance that a lot of us will meet there for a very long time to come.
Tickles is normal for a while, then she just shows up as her demon form, and we're just like, hey, it
Demon.
happened, cool.
Yeah,
And
that's
just keep going.
Can I sneak in a quick yes or no question for Rhojin? Because if someone has a more complicated question.
Yeah, sure.
So when Rose finally is ready to assume the mantle of the court, is Ziggy going to willingly relinquish power?
Yeah, Ziggy is still 100% loyal to Rose. He knows that he's just there as a placeholder. He's there to make sure that all the other kids play nice until mommy comes home.
Nice.
go Ziggy.
Yeah, Ziggy.
I love Ziggy. I had no intention of Ziggy becoming a permanent character, and he just like just became this thing. It was awesome. I loved
Yeah,
it.
Ziggy, for all intents and purposes, is Rose's right hand.
Yeah.
Would I be able to see Sven again?
Yeah. Speaking of Sven,
He's not dead.
Sven has actually acclimated enough to where he has his own physical form now.
Awesome.
He's no longer
God, he's
just
Venom.
sludge. He's walking around like
Oh no.
and looking mostly normal.
Yeah, didn't we get a vague glimpse of that in like the
Fight.
big?
The
He was
battle.
still forming, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was still being able to
Morph.
have full control over his form.
That asshole. If no one has any other question, I do have one final question for everybody.
Okay.
I do have a question too.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll let you do yours first.
No, you go ahead and do yours.
Mine's
first,
more
and
of a
I'll do
closure, so.
mine. So was mine.
Oh fuck.
Oh, God.
Jeebus.
I wonder
Rollies!
if ours is the
Rollies!
same.
Flip a coin!
Get at the same time.
I was gonna say, are you gonna ask? Is it Tuesday yet?
No, but close. I was gonna say, who the fuck is ready for campaign 3 on Tuesday?
I am.
I am very ready. I have an idea how my character is gonna play out because I haven't played this type of character before, and I kind of have a feeling how I want to do what she can do, and I'm gonna have lots of fun doing all sorts of dumb shit.
I'm
Oh, I
excited.
wanna- I'm
The
so
closer we
excited.
get, the more nervous I get.
Well, because it's like I can totally understand that. I'm not nervous right now, and I will more than likely be nervous day of because it's like new characters, new interactions. How are we all gonna respond? How are we gonna react? We're babies again, and I'm not talking about like levels or anything. I'm just like we're new characters, we're new babies, new relationships. How is this all gonna work out?
I love it. That's for me. That's the most exciting part. Is like how is this new group of misfits gonna gel?
Yeah.
How many towns are you gonna set on fire?
No.
Oh God, hopefully none.
No.
Hopefully none.
because the land that you are in now is minuscule in size compared to the campaign 2 world. So
Yeah,
there
it's
isn't
very
a lot
small.
of places for you to fucking run off to if you accidentally set a town on fire.
Yay!
We're gonna be very well known.
Accidentally, purposefully, tomato.
Potato.
It's all good. It's all good.
I still got to figure out a voice for my character. I'm just
Same.
I got one.
See, that's the thing, and I mentioned this before, but I know not everyone was there. But about a week or two ago, Gillitan was just like, "Oh my god, I am so freaking excited to like see who's playing what," and I was that asshole that it was just like, "I know, cause I had to draw them," and she's like, "Oh, you son of a bitch, I hate you." I was just like, I don't know anything about them, but I know at least what everyone is doing and playing, and that's what's gonna make it exciting to see how that all interacts and meshes with each other. But I just know the base ass knowledge, and that's it.
Yeah.
no. Rhojin, you're gonna have to hide the character cards during the
I
entire
already have it
intro.
set up. I already have it set up to
He's
where
gonna do what Critical Role
everyone's
does.
everyone's character card is going to pop up when they're introducing each other.
Yeah.
And then once everybody is introduced, it will start doing the cycle.
Nice.
So you're basically just doing like the add-on.
I'm not even
Once
doing the
every-
add-on. What I'm doing is
Oh, just
I'm
one at a
putting-
time.
I'm pulling in the files, giving them each their own section,
Oh, that's awesome.
and then I will just like hit the little I button on OBS to bring them up.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
then when they're done,
They're
close
done, you
them and then
close
bring the
down,
next one.
and then once everybody is introduced, then we'll go into the rotating cards.
That's cool. I like that. I'm excited. And yeah, with that being said, guys, we wrapped up campaign 2 just
Wait,
a few weeks ago.
Rhojin had a question.
No, it
Was
was
it
the same
Tuesday?
question.
Yeah.
it
Oh,
was the same
okay.
question.
I
that
bet you,
Zara
yeah,
was gonna
because
have.
I was like, because he said it's a closure. I'm like, I know exactly what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wrapped up the campaign about 3 weeks ago. We have been having a lot of fun and anxiety trying to get this next campaign going, but officially Tuesday, December 7th, we will have episode 1 of campaign 3, and I'm very excited because people can finally watch something at the beginning on our YouTube if it's missed, or just to go back and reference, because there's a lot of times I do that myself.
Well, no, we have other shows that people can watch in the beginning.
Well, yes, but I'm talking about for the Destiny Forged 1
Yeah,
and almost half of
Two.
Destiny Forged
Yeah.
2.
yeah.
First time for the flagship campaign.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yes, that's what I meant.
Unfortunately, there was a lot of weird shit for that,
Mhm.
But it is what it is. We've learned, and going forward,
Yeah, so that's why I'm just happy that we'll have like episode 1 of this one, our longest running show. So with that being said, this is not the only show that we have. This show is first Saturday of every month, where we bring on a guest. We don't know what we're doing next time, but we just wanted to make this episode special before campaign 3 and try to get as many people as possible together to answer some questions and learn more behind the scenes about each other and our characters.
I think we do know what we're doing for the next Behold lore, assuming we want to stick
that's
to the
right.
plan that we made.
That's right. Yes.
We'll be talking about Sonata lore.
Yes, that is correct. So we don't know guests or anything yet, so stay tuned for that. But that is correct. We did, because that was supposed to be today, and we switched it up because it felt better to do a campaign too.
And I require you to be in character as Snowdrop for the whole episode.
Oh dear God.
Gillitan
Please.
mentioned that the other day. She was just like, okay, so if Sonata keeps going, which you can just rotate all your Eladrins now. And I was like, yeah, I could. She was like, oh God, you're gonna have to be Snowdrop again. And you told me how hard that was. I was like, that's a lot of energy to keep up. That's a lot. That's why she's a one-shot character, because I'm like, that's not a lot of energy.
I have to make up a backup character for Sonata.
Yes.
Did you die?
No, he's
Durden
for now.
Durden didn't die. Durden
Sacrifice.
did the ultimate bro move.
He's kind of...
Wait, Durden cares? What?
Actually, yes, Durden cares. God, Durden is a broken person. Like literally, like not physically, but mentally, he's broken.
I mean, physically now as
You'll
well.
have to.
Yeah,
you'll have
physically
to watch,
now. But you'll have to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I didn't have a chance to do it the last couple nights because I've been preoccupied. But I do have the episode that I'm gonna upload here pretty soon of the last Sonata episode. So you'll have to watch it. It was pretty fun. But yeah, so. Monday, we have our Mass Effect Horizons game where I DM a bunch of spacers, the Mimsy 6, through a whole bunch of crap. That was smooth. Anyway, Tuesday, we have our Destiny Forge game, which officially, as I mentioned before, Campaign 3 starts this upcoming Tuesday. You do not want to miss it. I am super antsy and excited for it. And then we have our 2 alternating Saturday shows. We have our Wayward Wanderers, which is a Extinction Curse Pathfinder 2 campaign that Azharen is running everyone through. And then on the alternate Saturdays, we have Rhojin DMing our Withered Wastes campaign, which is like a post-apocalyptic Arcana broken sort of game. And then starting next Saturday, we are starting up our Christmas, our holiday mini adventure, where the kobolds are coming back. Kobolds are coming back with a sleigh ride through Raccoon Village.
Cannot wait to play Marvin again.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very interesting. So we have that. I think that's going for 4 Saturdays, skipping Christmas, since Christmas is on a Saturday. So we're gonna have to figure out. I think we decided that since the following Saturday is also January 1st, that we were going to push Behold Lore to, I think that's Sunday instead. But we'll keep you up to date with that in Discord and our socials and all that good stuff. We are bringing back our December, which
we are awesome.
Yeah, which will be starting next week. I need to take those pictures and everything. I am missing some of the dice. I am trying to get that worked out with Kraken. because there was a mishap at an other address and all that good stuff. So anyway, we'll get that figured out. So so whoever wins those dice probably may get them a little bit later. It's just whenever I can get them. So yeah, so starting next week, we are starting our December, and you have to be here live to win and claim them. So, and be comfortable to give your address so we can send them out. That is pretty much it. Definitely catch up on all of our shows on our YouTube channel, or click the link beholdrp.com for all of our other links and socials. So until then, guys, we will see you Monday for, I almost said Event Horizon. Whoa, different game, different
yeah.
space
I mean,
thing.
I kind of want to play in that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's some creepy Mass Effect Horizons. There we go. Otherwise, we'll see you guys a month from now back here on this show. Until then, we'll see you later.